Oh, hey, Nick.
Hey, Tys.
Happy Halloween, my man.
Oh, happy Halloween, Tys.
How exciting. Our October Spook-isodes are coming to an end.
Oh, how good were they been?
It's been a good month,
so
Nick.
Good.
It's been a really fun month. What episode number is this, Nick?
It's been big. It's been shit. I don't know. As he reaches around for his phone.
I know, right?
Let me have a look.
I think it's 159, isn't it?
159.
159. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Halloween Special, episode 159 of Nic, Tys and Videotape. We're very excited to be here, Nick. Why don't you tell the people at home where they can find our show if it's their first time listen?
Oh, sure. Well, if it is your first time listen, my God, you are in for probably one of the best episodes we're about to do. Because that's
selling it pretty high.
Come on, man. It's going to be decent.
All right.
I'm backing it. I'm backing it huge. Probably because it's my favourite franchise. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in to Nic, Tys and Videotape. My name is Nick. This is Tyson. We are two humble gents from Australia. Do you want to? Let's chuck that in.
All right,
Let's chuck that in.
Not?
We're not humble at all. Yes, and if you would like to listen more to our podcast, or if you've liked what you've heard, maybe this is your third or fourth episode in. Who knows?
Maybe you just joined us for our October Spook-isodes. Maybe it was
exactly
just jumped on board recently.
Exactly. And if you have, please like, subscribe, rate, review, do all those things so you can listen to our show and further episodes of what we come up with. Who knows what December might bring, Tyson. But yes, we are on all the social medias, which if you want to follow us on there, which is Nic, Tys and Videotape, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are on YouTube. We are... what else have I got? We do have an email address, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
Yes.
And Tyson and myself are big fans of the Letterboxd app. So if you are a fan, which some of you who are out there who are following Tyson and myself do know what we're talking about. Well, obviously you do because it's in the thumbnail, but that's not the point.
It's not
the point. It's not the point. The point is you know what we've rated and what we're here to talk about. So if you aren't following us on Letterboxd, please join. You can follow Tyson at TYS_videotape, and I am Nick, NIC_videotape. That's it, Nick.
Oh man. Yeah, look, I'm all right. It's been a busy day, man.
Yeah.
Do you mind? Can we I just need like a 20-minute kip.
Yeah, sure.
And then I reckon I'll be good to go. Do you reckon I can just have a real quick nap?
All right, man. You have a snooze. I'm gonna stay awake for a little bit longer.
All right.
And then,
sounds good, man. All right, I'll be back in like 20. I promise.
All right, I'll wake you up.
Oh, hey, Nick.
Tys, what's going on, man?
Where are we, man?
Oh.
Why are you... It got really hot all of a sudden, and I woke me up. I was like, but now we're stuck in this... Why are we in this boiler room, man?
I have no idea why.
How are you...
This
is
very scary.
Am I dreaming? Nick! Am I the Dream Master? Did I pull you into my dream?
You're the Dream Master.
I'm the Dream Master.
Am I in your dream?
I think you are. Nick, I have been...
This is a bit full on, Tys, so I don't like where we are, man.
Oh, man, hang on. Did you just hear that?
I heard that, of course I heard.
Oh, shit.
Did you hear that?
Oh, shit.
Oh, we're fucked.
We are so fucked, I think he's here, man.
We are incredibly fucked.
I have this urge. Something's telling me that you need to go and open up the boiler. I've got a feeling. Yeah,
that one over there?
The raging boiler. I think you've got to open it up.
I'm not opening that, Tyson.
Just go nuts, man. You got to do it. My Dream Master brain is telling me that's what you need to do.
Your Dream Master brain. Well, okay, I'm going to open this thing. I'm opening it. Okay, here we go.
Oh, what is it?
Tys.
Yeah.
It's a box set, Tys.
Oh, is it really?
It's a Blu-ray box set. Nightmare on Elm Street, man.
No shit.
Legacy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Hey, we should watch them.
Let's watch them now.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And now a feature program.
His story is the stuff of legend. Boogeyman, monster, the bastard son of 100 maniacs. He has fed on the souls of those unfortunate enough to cross his path. But still, he returns in terrifying visions and nightmares. Because every town has an Elm Street, and there's only one way to stay alive. Don't fall asleep.
And scene. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Scene.
That was the Nic, Tys and Videotape Players presents the introduction to their Nightmare on Elm Street franchise discussion.
Thank you so much.
We rank stuff volume, it's like volume 9 or something. We've done a ton of these.
Jeez. We have. We have done a ton of
And to be quite honest, Nick, I'm going to keep that because that was all kinds of garbage. But I've got a feeling... I've just got a feeling that I'm going to zip it up with a bit of sound effects, and you wait. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to work.
Yes.
It's going to work for us.
Now, Nick, our Halloween special this year, we decided to rank as we do. It's always our Halloween episode. We like to pick a horror franchise, and
Exactly.
we rank them from our least favorite to our most favorite. It's not about best or worst here. It's about favorites.
Exactly.
Because as we say, love what you love. If one of these might not be your favorite that we list as number one, or you might love the movie that we think is absolute dog shit. But
Exactly.
and that is totally fine. So that's why we like to do our favorites and not necessarily best to worst. And we've picked the granddaddy of them all, Nick.
We have.
The
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes. And now you have a bit
Tyson?
more of a relationship with this franchise than I do.
I do. We have done this episode before. We have done the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes, we had an episode on the first Nightmare on Elm Street. This was back a couple of years ago now.
Yep.
And
2018, Tyson.
Yeah, right.
I was listening back to the episode and I was like, oh, 2018. Oh, shit. Okay.
All right.
But yes, that is, I know, right?
we've put some miles on since then.
That's insane. But yes, that is episode 78.
Very
so
good.
if you care to go back and listen, you can look at that. But yes, as you were saying before, Tyson, yes, this is my favorite horror movie franchise. But also the first Nightmare on Elm Street it's in my top 10 films of all time. I really, really enjoy this movie. I love it. I love it so much. So yes, it in more ways than one, I always give it a watch during October. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, man.
Yeah.
I have a lot of history with it.
And well, for me, it was kind of the opposite. I have limited relationship with this series. So for me, this was a lot of these were first time watches, which was really fun.
Oh, nice. I
and
like it.
I've got to say, man, compared to Saw and the Final Destination series, this has been easily my favorite to do of the three that we've done so
really?
far. I found this the easiest, the most enjoyable. Generally, I found all of the movies had at least some merit to them. And, I just think back to that awful time where we had to watch Saw 4, 5, and 6, and 7. And by the end of 7, we were both just defeated and like, how have we sat through this nonsense? And I didn't have that feeling at all during this, which is really, really unexpected, considering I'd heard up to this point that the quality of these movies just drops off like a cliff, but I didn't feel that way, which is really fun. So I think we're going to have a good old-fashioned chat. Now, we like to start at the end, Nick, and we do this the way we do any of our top 10s or rankings or anything like that, is that we will list a title, and if it appears higher on one of our lists, we'll put that aside for the time being, and we'll come back to it once it reaches its highest point on the list, and then we'll stop and have a good chat about it. So, should we get cracking, Nick?
I like it. We should. I'm just quickly, I forgot to rank mine.
Oh, you just don't have the order just yet.
Out. I just don't have the order. And to be honest, it's a no-brainer for me. That's why it took me 2 seconds and I'm done.
And you're done. Okay. All right, let's rock and roll.
Nice.
Ow. Oh, that wasn't a word.
Pleasant.
Now, Nick. So, number 9, with a bullet.
Number 9 with a bullet.
I believe we're both going to have the same one. I'd be very surprised if we don't. But I'm happy to go first. I ranked in 9th place the reboot, the 2010 reboot.
Yes, I am exactly the same.
Excellent.
The remake.
Sorry, not reboot. The remake, of course.
The remake, if you can call it that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that means we get to talk about it now, and the less said, the better, I believe. We can smash our way through this pretty quick smart, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Nick, I will say this, though, and similar to what I was saying earlier, I'd heard just horrendous things about this movie. And
was this a first watch, Tys?
Yeah, I'd never seen it.
Never seen it. Yeah, cool.
I did find things to like about it. I'll be 100% honest. I found some things to like about it. I thought there were at least a few interesting ideas that they explored that they really never kind of committed to, unfortunately. And compared to my 8th ranking, I won't give that away just yet. I actually found them very similar films that were just... Okay. But the problems with them were on like different ends of the spectrum. And I decided what problems were more frustrating to me. Do you know what I mean? Okay. So the problems with my 8th pick, I think, are kind of harmless problems and aren't really, don't really offend me. Whereas the problems in the reboot offend me. Remake offend. Okay. I get kind of disgusted by it. I think the whole him explicitly being a child molester and that it is repressed sex crimes and some of the really just awful things that this character says, I think is really rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, well, fuck you, movie. I don't know how you feel about that.
I agree, Tyson. That was a big, because oh God, here we go. So I was so on board for this, Tyson, when it first came out. That first trailer, which the trailer was, remember, what was the name of the kid that goes down with her? What was his name? He was a nice kid. But that character,
Dexter? No.
Dex. Yeah, Dex.
Was it Dex?
No, Dex. Wasn't it Dex?
Oh, I don't. They had like trendy names. They didn't have normal names.
They did, yeah. It was 2010 names. His name was Quentin. Was it Quentin?
Quentin, yeah.
It was Quentin. His dream of seeing the how the adults are going after Fred Krueger and burn him. That was the trailer that came out for this movie, and I was so excited because I thought I've always wanted to see a prequel to A Nightmare on Elm Street. See Fred Krueger be that child killer and end up the finale is the parents burning him and then him kind of invading Tina's from Nightmare on Elm Street 1's first dream or something like that, something along those lines. And that was the first one. So I actually saw the remake at the cinema, Tyson.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly. And when I came out, because of what you said, really rubbed me the wrong way. And I know that because we said on our last episode when we did Nightmare on Elm Street that when Wes Craven created Freddy Krueger, he was a child molester and killer, but because there was a pedophile case that was happening at the time in 1984, they kind of just pushed it aside a little, and it wasn't really in focus. And this one, they really put it at the forefront, and it didn't. It kind of made the movie worse. It was like, sure, you can allude to it, but the fact that you're putting it really front and center, it doesn't make for a good horror movie.
No, because I mean, I admire their attempt to remove some of the comic qualities of Freddy. Like, I admire that attempt. Yeah, because you go into this and pretty much from the outset, it seems like it's like, oh, okay, we're back to a really threatening Freddy. But the way that they've chosen to do that as the movie goes on, I found just really reprehensible. I was like, instead of actually creating a character and just informing the character's menace with good direction and a good performance, you've instead had to up the ante on his crimes, which to me is kind of like, it's cheating a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And also, like, as much as, yes, we want to feel threatened, we want to feel scared, it's still a Freddy movie. And, I know a lot of people think the first one is this terrifying thing. I still think it's just kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's got scares, but to me, it's a lot more fun than it is kind of like something, we always use the example, but something like Hereditary, which is like a really depressing flattening experience at the end of it. You're just like, oh, fuck me. That was, I'm scared and depressed.
That was intense.
Yeah. But we don't, I've never felt that about any of these movies except the remake. Less scared though, because there was nothing really in it that was scary.
No, it wasn't scary
aside
at all.
from some ridiculous jump scare stuff where he'd just pop up and the camera would, and you'd just be like, oh, fuck you, man. What a cheap scare.
I really dislike this remake. I do, and in this watch, I really tried hard to find things that I actually like. I think casting Jackie Earle Haley was like. I still back it. I think he if he was under another director and another writer, I think his Freddy would have been awesome. I really do. I don't mind his Freddy. I think his Freddy is menacing and great. I think the makeup is a tad much. I think they could have pulled back a little so that he could play a bit more. But
he looked kind of hampered by the makeup. Like he looked like he couldn't really perform properly.
Move. Yeah, exactly.
Because his face showed nothing, because it was just this mush of burn makeup. But at least with Robert Englund's Freddy, like the way the makeup's designed, it has a resting kind of menace to it, where it's like that witchy kind of quality, where even his resting face is kind of like wide-eyed, big kind of grin. Whereas Jackie Earle Haley's one, his resting face is like nothing. It's just a blank slate. And so for him, he has to actually do all this extra work, and with all the prosthetics, it just doesn't carry through.
Exactly. Yeah. What I was going to say is that I understand that they were going for a real burn victim look. Yeah. I just think it kind of hindered them more than helped.
Yeah, 100%.
It really didn't help. But I really like Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. I think he was great. I also think that this movie has. I think the look of it is I don't mind it. It's not great, but I think it looks okay. It has a quite dark element to it, making it quite scary and things like that. And I know that a lot of people argue that, well, the point of putting it in Elm Street is that it's a nightmare in suburbia type deal. So you need that kind of that daytime, that kind of freshness to really kind of push home the fact that she's having nightmares and these are, really petrifying all the kids. But I think it was okay. But that's kind of it. That's where the buck stops. I think this movie is lazy as fuck.
Yeah.
I think the movie lacks so much tone. It doesn't want to be original at all. It pulls from. They do so many homages to the original, but they do them. There's so much lackluster. They do them as boring as fuck. They're like with the bathroom scene. If you're not going to add something to it, then why the fuck are you doing it? Like we've all, if we wanted to see that, we would go watch the '84 version. There were so many moments in there, like the school with the body bag and the dragging. Yeah, that was in there. But it was quickly done, and I was like, no, pass. This is I checked out of this movie quite early.
Yeah, the moments that I did enjoy were moments that stood aside from the original, I think, and that's little kind of nuances here and there that I appreciated. I really liked the opening scene. I actually thought after, like, the scene before the credits rolled, I was all of a sudden like, oh man, is this secretly good, this movie?
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice way to open because I really liked the way they lit the dream. And I mean, that seems obvious, but they lit it with like green and red tinges in the lighting design. I was like, yeah, look, I mean, it seems obvious, but it's kind of works nicely. And killing off, what's his name? He's a somewhat famous actor. What's his name?
He is, isn't he? What is his name?
From Twilight and shit. God, fuck, I can't think of his name. No.
Is his name? He's
like a big
Kellen Lutz.
Thank you, Kellen Lutz. Yeah. Killing off Kellen Lutz in the opening scene had a little touch of the screams about it. It was like, he's a reasonably high profile kind of teen heartthrob. I thought, and there he goes before the credits.
Nice.
And I thought it was kind of suitably brutal the way they knocked him off, and I was like, okay, cool, we might be getting to something here.
Okay, but you don't think it was a bit? You don't think it was a bit cheap? Like going. Unfortunately, I have to compare it to the '84, right? But the first when you're showing what Freddy can do, that first 1984 dragging Tina up the walls and dropping her from the roof into a pool of blood.
Oh yes, it doesn't compare.
Yeah.
But
I just felt like it should have made... The first kill should always kind of make its mark.
I think it was.
You know,
I think it was designed
kind of...
to be more shock value than because I don't think we go into the opening scene of a Nightmare movie expecting a kill that quickly. Usually, that's not really the way that they're structured. And I actually thought that maybe it meant, and they did try to kind of keep this up, but I don't think they did a really good job. Is that they were returning to like no shtick, like people would die because they fucking died, not because of some of the ridiculous things that started happening as the franchise went on. And so I was kind of on board, and then it deteriorated pretty quickly. I did like, there was one Freddy moment that I really enjoyed, and that was when one of the, faceless, nameless 2010 heartthrob boys gets killed.
Thomas Dekker, sure.
Maybe Thomas Dekker, sure. I think it was. And he's hanging upside down, and he says... the thing about how there's brain activity for a good 6 minutes after you die, so we get to play. And I was like,
we get to play for
that's
6
fun.
minutes.
That's great. Yeah. I like that. That's exactly what Freddy would say in this iteration, because it's kind of a bit cheeky, but it's not like a flat-out joke. He's reveling in it a little bit, and I like it. And I also liked the concept of the micro naps, because
Yes, that's the other thing that I wrote down. I thought that was a really original, really good idea, because it also put the movie on a time limit. It was like, no, there is a time where if we keep going like this, we're going to... Number one, either fall asleep and never wake up, like literally be in a coma, or we're going to be dreaming and not know that we are. And I really like that idea. It was a good idea. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie sucks.
But this is it's surrounded by a movie that it doesn't have any of its own identity. It copies the other best moments from the movie are from the first movie, and its bad moments are everywhere.
Exactly.
Some of the... Oh, do you know what I didn't mind, actually? And look, it's a complete rip of Pulp Fiction, but I actually thought the adrenaline to the heart to wake her up and her dragging him through. I was like, hey, that's not a bad idea. Like,
not a bad idea. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, rather than like burning someone or burning them or something like that. Like,
considering how many stupid ways we've seen Freddy cop it in this, like I couldn't tell you how most of these movies end, because they don't make any sense. He's there, and then movie stuff happens and he's not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
But in this one, I was kind of like, I liked the straightforwardness of it. It's like adrenaline to the fucking straight to the heart. So of course she's going to wake up, and then they just beat the fuck out of him,
pull out of the dream, and then just literally cut him the fuck up. Yeah, it was so good.
Good old school beatdown.
Yeah,
which I didn't mind.
The main two things that I have to gripe with, and then we can move on.
Sure.
Because I don't want to stay too much on the
No, please no.
The biggest beefs that I had was the fact that what was the character that we mentioned before? The first one, Quentin. Why would if Freddy can control what you see in your dreams, right? If he can control that if you're in a Freddy dream, why would he show you the origin story, the birth of Freddy? Which is what Quentin sees. It was so fucking stupid. I was like, why would he show you this?
I feel like that happens all the time in this series. Like someone falls asleep and discovers a new piece of Freddy's.
Oh yeah, that's kind of true. It does kind of happen a bit, doesn't it?
And I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? Who's showing him this? Is it always? I always just, you just kind of got to go with it. You just go, oh well,
jump in.
I guess I've got to find out this information somehow.
So fucking random though. It was so random.
Oh,
yeah, go.
So I was just going to say, like, I don't want to, it's not fun hanging shit on a movie, but you know what really pissed me off? Why spend some time putting doubt in our mind about whether or not he actually molested these kids?
Oh, this was my other one. This was my second.
Only to then go, oh no, don't worry about it. He totally did.
Oh yeah, he did rape us. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's really
because
awesome.
Wouldn't it be so much more interesting if he didn't? And these kids, it was these kids' lies and kids telling stories because he was a bit of a creep and made them feel uncomfortable.
No, but he needs to be a killer. But killer, sure.
I know, but maybe that came. But maybe that anger and that drive came from being murdered for just being a bit of a weird dude who worked at a kindergarten. You know what I mean? And I thought that's where the movie was going, and I was like, ballsy move, love it. And then it's like, and then they just find photos of them getting fucking molested, and I'm like, all right, well, don't worry about it. Thanks for your one attempt at trying something interesting movie. You just fucking shat on it.
I fucking hated it. It was so... God, you have no idea that scene pissed me off in the cinema so much.
God,
I was going to walk. My wife was like... Sam was like... Do you want to leave? We can leave. I was like, well, no, I have to fucking watch it now, don't I? Fucking
But
piece
it's not
of
because
shit.
maybe he could have because in the flashbacks, I thought they were going to show that he maybe had a disability or was, something that kids find uncomfortable and then turn into like the boogeyman. I know that sounds awful, but kids are kids. Like sometimes if you don't explain to your kids properly, they can see someone that has a disability or a learning problem and they can manifest like something out
Turn
of them
into a sort of maybe a monster or something like that.
Exactly. And I thought maybe that's where they were going with that, and that he maybe got really angry at them for something because they knocked over one of his pot plants or something, and he yelled at them really aggressively, and it was like a burst of frustration from him because he's not entirely 100% capable of controlling his emotions or something. Maybe that's his thing. And the kids went home crying, and they told a story because they that he made him, it was really awkward and blah blah blah, whatever. And then the movie suddenly becomes this weird kind of like the parents' reaction caused this whole But no.
But then we'd be on Freddy's side.
Not necessarily, because he's still a fucking murderer.
But only after the fact.
Yeah, but
I know what you mean.
But at least, but that to me is like, that's a reason for a remake to exist. Whether or not it works or not, that's a reason for the movie to exist, because then you can go, well, at least they changed the motivation, so it means that we look at all these movies in a different way.
So true.
But no, they fucked that off. Completely.
It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The one last thing I wanted to mention was the fact that they don't use probably one of the biggest icons that the franchise has, and the biggest character, which is one of my favorite things, is the house, 1428 Elm. They didn't use it. The house.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's not what they're living?
No. Oh, maybe, but no, you don't see it. It's not that house. Not that house, no. Yeah.
Well, we still get Connie Britton with the terrible jump scare at the end.
Yeah.
Was this movie released in 3D when it came out?
No, it wasn't. I don't think so.
Because that looked like a real 3D moment, didn't it?
It did, didn't it?
And all of a sudden in my head I was like, oh yes, 2010, of course.
Yes.
When every movie was 3D.
Everyone, all of it.
Yeah.
It was all 3D transfers. It was terrible.
Yeah. So in the end, some interesting moments, but overall a massive failure.
Yes. Shall we press on?
I think we should move on, Nick. My number 9.
Okay. Your number 9.
My number 8, I should say. There's only 9 of them. My number 8, which I'm fairly certain is going to be higher on your list, so we'll probably be putting this aside for now. But my number 8 was Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare.
Oh yes, that is quite high on mine.
Very good. All right, let's put that aside for a little bit. What was your number 8?
Put that aside. My number 8 is Freddy versus Jason.
We will put that aside for one moment because it's my number 7. So let's talk about it now.
Lovely. Oh, okay. Excellent.
My number 7, yes. Your number 8, Freddy versus Jason.
Your number 7.
And I feel like I'm going to say this a lot. I didn't hate this movie.
Okay.
I don't hate this.
You didn't hate this movie?
No.
Yeah, it's not that bad. There are having watched what we've watched, which we're gonna mention a lot probably during this episode, is the documentary which is Never Sleep Again, which Tyson and myself absolutely love. And if anyone is a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, they should definitely give it a watch. It dives through a lot of stuff throughout all movies apart from the remake, and just going on what they have to say about Freddy versus Jason, where the writer comes from. I kind of back him, because what he had in mind for this was not what got put to celluloid. And
it seemed like his ideas sounded better when he was describing them. In my head, I was like, "Oh, that does sound better. Why didn't that happen?" But this is half the thing that happens. And Bob Shea, who has produced all of these films, New Line Cinema. It was basically a company out of the fucking trunk of his car. So you can't really blame the guy for having a personal stake in it. But and sometimes I think he made these movies better, but there are some moments where you can see he did make them worse. But at the same time, you can't really blame him for that. You're just kind of like, okay, this is they refer to New Line as the house that Freddy built. So he's obviously got this stake in it. He's allowed to have his say. But in this circumstance, you could see just these nuggets of ideas with the writer, and you're like, oh, what a bummer that we didn't get that.
Yeah.
Instead, we got what we get.
Or like I think the movie was maybe could have used maybe 15 minutes longer just to give it some breathing room. I just felt like it was a bit of a rush.
Oh, super
I felt
rush.
like it was rushed.
Rushed
really.
in the first half an hour and then dragged out to shit for the last hour. I found.
Yeah, right.
Because
Yeah,
I
right.
expected, because I'd seen, this is one of the ones that I had seen before. And I in my head remembered that Freddy didn't get shitty with Jason until the last act. But it's like 20 minutes into this movie. He's like, oh, he's killing you.
Yeah. Fucking bastard. Yeah.
You're taking over my kills. And I'm like, well, that's the catalyst for the finale, not for Act 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what, this movie is severely lacking in Act 2 where Jason's committing these kills, Freddy's collecting the souls, getting stronger, but starting to worry about Jason getting on his own, and maybe stealing one from him, and he gets a bit shitty, but he's like, no, it's okay, I'm still building up. But it just goes bang, all of a sudden, 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Oh, you've taken all my souls. And what? Where was the rest of this movie?
What are you doing? Yeah, exactly. Like, where was the reaction to that? Like, there needed to be, like you said, in the second act, have it so that because Freddy gets his power from people's fear of him, have it so that they're not scared of him, they're scared of Jason, so he's losing the power that he was trying to get, hence why he tries to attack him. There you go. How hard is that to fucking write? Come on, man.
Because I think the concept's pretty strong. I think it's really clever.
Yeah.
That whole there's this one, and to a degree, what they did in the remake as well, and in Freddy's Dead. This idea of hiding the past, this idea of removing Freddy from our knowledge in order to remove him as a threat. I think that's a really interesting concept.
I like it as well. I like it as well.
That they explore it a bit in this. And I find that stuff really interesting, the way the police department all know who Freddy is, but it's like, we don't say his name. We just, we've blacked out all this shit. These kids don't know who we're talking about. The fact
they've edited documents and all that shit.
I find
put all the kids from Elm Street into an asylum.
Yeah, exactly.
On Hypnosil and shit. Yeah. That's really good.
I think that's fun. And then there's just one dumb cop who just goes, "What do you mean, Freddy Krueger?" And and thus the movie begins. I love that guy. What a fucking idiot that guy is. Do you think it's Freddy?
He plays a fucking dumb. He's a dumbass in a lot of things, isn't he?
Yeah.
The one that I know him from is Night at the Roxbury. I forget who he is, but he's in Night at the Roxbury. I'm like, oh, I remember you. But how this movie is so 2003.
Oh, fuck me.
It is a very 2003.
Welcome to your one and only film, Kelly Rowland.
Oh yes, good on to Kelly Rowland.
And
what a champ.
Who would have thought in 15 years you'd be hosting the Australian Voice?
Jeez. And Monica Keena, man. Monica Keena was I knew her from Dawson's Creek. She was one of the greatest characters from Dawson's Creek.
Well, yeah, she was in the bit for about 4 years. And then she just fell off the face of the planet. One of the funnest things about watching Never Sleep Again is just seeing these people who are just not even closely resembling who they were. Even, like, that's only 15, or that was only, maybe 10 years ago before that, when that doco was made, and they look like different human beings completely.
Yeah, she's had a lot of work done.
Was that what it was?
A lot of work done. Yeah.
So, what else? I don't love the human characters in this, which I think as we move higher up the list, that's where I really start to find my enjoyment comes from. I think I'm always going to enjoy Freddy to a certain degree, but it's the human characters that if I relate to them and like them, I think that's when I find these movies more enjoyable. And with this group, it was just, there just wasn't much to latch onto at all.
No.
Like,
we didn't get a chance to know them. Like, when was I really wanted to like the two guys in the asylum, how they kind of escaped, they had their plan, they kind of
they were the most interesting, I thought, the two of them. I thought, but then you've got those fucking douchebag bro dudes at the start, and thank God he gets it hard, and I loved it.
It was good.
And the girl whose character trait is that she's an alcoholic, and I'm like, well, that's weird for a teenager. I'm like, Should we be doing
As
this?
if that's weird for a teenager. There is so many... Jesus, the amount of times that in high school, someone would go, oh, man, I'm going to get paralytic on the weekend. I'm like, do you really
I feel
get
like
paralytic?
it was a little bit more
I'm pretty sure you
than
just sit in your fucking spare bedroom and play Nintendo.
Yeah.
You're so full of shit.
with a quarter of a box of wine that you stole out of the fridge. No, but she seemed to be a little bit more. It was a everyday kind of thing for her. I think she was
hitting it. She was hitting it bad.
She was double fisting those.
It's a different time.
Those big. What do they call it? What's it from How I Met Your Mother? What's the game? What's the game that they play where they duct tape.
No idea.
40-40.
I haven't seen
That's
How I
it.
Met Your Mother.
They 40-ounce things of, it's like a cider that they gaffer tape it to their hands.
Tape together.
And so you can't use your hands. All you can do is drink the drink and then
that's insane. Really?
Undo it from your hands.
Jesus, pass. Fucking hell. That's intense. God damn. What else is in this? Oh, this movie. This is hilarious. So 2003 compared to the remake. This Freddy vs. Jason actually looks bad. It doesn't look good, this movie.
It's very 2003.
Whereas the imagery, what Freddy and Jason look like, what their makeup is and the costume and everything, I reckon they look quite good. Especially Freddy in this one. They've really kind of really played with him, really messed him up, made him look quite fucking scary.
I feel like his teeth are more fucked up in that one or something.
Yeah,
than I remember.
They are,
yeah. And I will say that I like their ability to make Jason somewhat sympathetic. I feel like that's an interesting choice, and they pulled it off pretty well. Because he seems like he's just a dude who just wants to do his thing, and because he's been manipulated, and then you have those scenes where you see Freddy torturing him as a child. You build this kind of weird camaraderie with Jason, and
Jason
you're kind of like, hey, fuck him up, Jason. Go for it. Get him.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind. Even though and it's funny because even though he's still killing everybody in sight while he's trying, I feel like maybe they should have leaned into it more, and maybe I'd like this movie a lot more if I seem to recall. I'm jumping around here. My brain is on overdrive. I seem to have a memory of at one point Jason turning to Monica Keena and remembering that she tried to stick up for her as a kid. Sorry, she tried to stick up for him as a kid and not killing her. Yep. But that didn't end up happening, did it?
No, that did not. No.
I don't know why I had that memory. Because I thought...
She's in one of the dreams. She sees she sees him and goes, "Is anyone going to do anything?" Or she uses the line, "Aren't you coming?"
Oh, God.
He turns around.
What a stretch.
He's fucking a corpse and goes, "Not my fault. This bitch is dead on her feet." It just laughs in a pure Freddy fashion. I'm like, that is... And this movie, just to say, this movie it's amped up the sexual everything in this movie. The sexual violence is quite high. The amount of nudity is quite strong. I was like, oh, this is
more than
a lot in this.
Yeah, more than the rest of the series, because the rest of the series kind of it avoids, for the most part. There's still a couple of moments here and there.
You have a little bit here and there, but it's not as in your face in this one.
No, and for the most part, the whole series has avoided that 80s slasher kind of tradition of see female character, see her take her top off, see her die. Yeah. The series kind of has avoided that. And then, this one felt really kind of, let's just chuck a sex scene in there. Let's just chuck some nudity in there. Yeah. And it was it was strange.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because, I know that female nudity equals dying is very Friday the 13th.
Yes.
It's not really Nightmare on Elm Street.
So now,
you know what I mean? So maybe because we're getting both of them, you have to have...
That's actually a really good point. I tend to think of this more as a... I think because I was watching it as part of the Nightmare series, I thought about it as a Nightmare movie. But if I was watching it as part of the Friday 13th series, I would think of it more as a Jason movie.
Your nudity in it.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't gotta, but I suppose it's, it's just...
You don't gotta,
it's
but,
just that's the tradition.
Hey, puts asses in the seats.
Yeah, we gotta get the people we gotta get the people what they want.
We gotta people on the.
But overall, this one feels like the most of a missed opportunity to me. Because
I do like hearing, and especially probably the only way I will ever watch this again is watching it from the Never Sleep Again perspective, because hearing the script everyone wrote a script for Freddy versus Jason when they talk about it in this, and I think there was like 8 different versions. And one of the versions in there that they talk about, I would have loved to have seen, because it's Springwood, like years on, everyone's forgotten Freddy, and kids actually take sleeping pills to go to sleep so that they can beat him up. And he's this pathetic weakling of an old man.
Yeah, I liked that story.
And they showed imagery in the documentary. I was like, geez, that would have been a great kind of thing to kind of unpack and open. It would have been... And then from there, he accidentally kills a kid and then gets full strength back and then goes from there. And I think that would have been great.
I liked the sound of that too. I thought that sounded really interesting. And look, you can keep all your... crossovers with Ash and all that kind of stuff. I'm like,
oh yeah,
like
and
Pinhead and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, come on, no, it's all too much. All too much.
Yeah,
it was hard enough getting these two in the same movie and having it make sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. Should we move on, Nicholas?
Freddy versus Jason, Tyson. Yeah.
So that was my number 7. What's your number 7, Nicholas?
What's my number 7? Oh, my number 7 is A Nightmare on Elm Street 5: A Dream Child.
We're going to hang on to that one for a little bit.
We're going to hang on to that.
So I'm going to go to my number 6 then, Nick. And my number 6 is Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge.
I have no idea what we're up to. That is my number 6.
Hey! Very good.
Hey!
So we've landed square together with...
Again, I like it.
Yeah, Freddy's Revenge.
Freddy's Revenge.
Movie that I heard, once again, that I heard was absolutely awful, and I quite enjoyed it, to be honest.
Yeah. This has been like when... Back in the 80s and 90s, this was the one that a lot of franchise fans hated this version. And there's a lot of I understand why, especially watching Never Sleep Again. You can kind of understand they changed it. They forgot the rules about Freddy completely and just went their own way. And there's a lot of things in this movie that doesn't make sense. But since then, in the 2000s, 2010, all that stuff, this movie has gotten a second wind and has actually become a what would you call it?
Cult classic?
A cult classic, but also a queer favourite.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the first gay horror film.
I mean, it's funny.
Not that it's set out to be, but, you know.
But
this is what it is.
Like, listening to the director and some other people sit there and say, oh, yeah, I didn't see it while we were making it. I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. You've absolutely got to be kidding me. What movie are you watching? If it was... At what point do you think having a character get wet toweled to death...
in the shower.
In the shower.
Gym shower.
Yeah, doesn't make you think, this is a bit camp, isn't it? Nah, it's fine. I mean,
it's fine.
I believe them, but I just can't fathom that they actually didn't think that this was just gay. So gay.
Yeah. And it's amazingly gay.
But
like,
it's fantastic. It's fantastically so.
Good.
Because you've just got this character who is in every way, shape, and form a final girl played by a man.
Yeah.
And immediately it puts you on this different footing because he's playing the role all the way. He screams like a girl. He gets saved in the end by his girlfriend. He doesn't play the role of the male character in a horror movie. He plays the role of the female. And it's really quite interesting in that regard. And you know, there's a lot to be said about this being a kind of like a metaphor for the experience of coming out. Which is a bit problematic because that means that the Freddy represents being gay. And that's kind of that's a bit rough.
But that's the horror element of it. This is not a coming of age, coming out movie. This is a horror movie.
And that means that at the end he beats down his homosexuality.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like he's been to Jesus camp. Beats it down, burns it away, and it's like, I'm straight.
Maybe he comes maybe he comes to his, comes to the conclusion and it comes out eventually of his own fruition. I don't know. Like
maybe.
Yeah. I even though this isn't what was this, my 6th? I still have a lot of love for this movie.
Oh, me too.
Really
me
like
too.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I think it's great.
And not even in that kind of slightly ironic way where I'm watching this movie that people have no idea how they made it. I think there's some ingenious stuff there. Like that transformation scene where Freddy busts out through him. is intense, fantastic.
Phenomenal.
I really
and quite scary as
quite
well.
scary.
Like,
I think this one still maintains a lot of the fear from the first one. I know a lot of people didn't think it did, but he's still pretty scary. And
he is.
When he busts out into the pool party, which is, it's strange because he shouldn't be there. Like, it's weird that Freddy's in the real world.
Stupid.
It rubs me the wrong way.
Same.
I mean, it has happened in other movies. He gets pulled through into reality.
But not this way.
Yeah, there's nothing that says, though, there's no reason why. Like, let's say, for instance, any one of those times he gets pulled into the real world, they don't pull it off. They fail. He'd end up at a pool party.
He could just fuck off.
He'd end up at a pool party. Of course he would.
Yeah.
That's his bag.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that scene's fantastic, and it's there's that moment where all the kids are kind of standing back, staring at him like, what the fuck? Who is this guy?
What are we looking
and
at?
one of them comes forward and is like, oh, hey man, look, it's all good. You know, don't. Can I get you something? And you're just like, oh, you're fucked. You are fucked. Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it.
Okay. I hate that pool scene. I hate it with a passion. Only because it goes against all the rules. But that's the only reason why. Like, I actually quite love how he disappears into flames, into the
into the
hedge.
hedges. Yeah.
How fucking rad is that?
Yeah,
that's one of the best. Like, so good.
Looks great.
So good. But there's a lot of actually imagery in this movie that I actually really love. One of them is, and I'm gonna open up a bit here. I actually have a a fear of public buses, and I think it's because of this movie.
Interesting, Nicholas.
Yeah, I really do.
I mean, they are gross. I'm with you there.
They are gross, no, but it's more to the fact that I actually don't know where the fuck they're going. So if I get on one, I don't know where I'm going to end up. But
no, that's actually a really good point.
This is a fear like I had before I have an iPhone and the Uber app. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm fine now. But that first scene where you see Jesse go off and Freddy is driving the bus and they just go off into the desert and keep going.
Yes.
I'm like, that is petrifying. That is beyond scary, because how the fuck are you going to get off? The door is near him. You know, you have to go up to him to kind of get to the door.
And it's also a dream, and things don't work out as you would like them to. So
exactly.
I suppose it doesn't really matter.
So good. So good. I love it.
Back to a point you said before as well. I agree completely that it cops a lot of slack because it changed a lot of what made the first one more successful.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting, though, is that we're looking at it from a perspective of all the other movies existing.
Yeah.
Whereas
they didn't know this was
at the time it came out, it was just the first one and this one. So we don't, in an alternate reality, Freddy could have become more of a
completely different,
a slasher in the real world. And it and people go back to the first one and go, oh, this is when he was still in everyone's dreams. And you know what I mean? It's a weird kind of, I never thought of that. I don't really begrudge them for trying those things and just experimenting with it and saying, okay, but so is it going to work? Can we do it? Because I think they gave it a pretty good shake, but realized that, no, hang on, the real excitement here is the dream stuff. Like, it took, and it's a fair call, but I don't necessarily think it was like this completely misguided decision to try something different with him.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like I said, who knows? We could if this was more successful and critically, I mean, it was quite successful financially, but if it was critically more successful, we could have a totally different Freddy because of this movie. Which I don't mind.
Yeah, there are some things that I'm reading my notes now. There are some things that I do like about this movie. Like, I love the heat element. I love how throughout the whole movie everything's really hot. Everyone's like really, really hot,
really sweaty,
to the point where where Jesse walks into a room. This is the scene where the bird explodes, which is just hysterical.
Yeah.
And he walks into the room and just goes, "My God, it is boiling in here." And I love it. I'm like, it's so good. And when he screams and wakes up and he's like someone's just dropped a bucket of water on him.
Yeah.
I'm like, my God, man, if I woke up like that, I'd be like, cool. I need a fan in my room. I need something. I need a
large glass of water is what I need.
Yeah.
You know when you wake up and you've had those hot, sweaty sleeps and you're just like, water, give me water.
Please. Fucking Jesus. But yeah, there are some things that work and some things that don't work in this. The Rottweiler baby faces, that was horrible. The hell, the dogs of hell,
Shambles.
and the cat at the end.
Yeah,
the puppet. Oh my God, horrible.
I mean, they obviously spent all their coin on some of those transformation effects because they're far more.
And that's the thing, exactly.
Yeah. How does? So this is one of the ones and
go
pretty
on.
much from here on out, I don't really understand. How does Freddy
Yeah.
die in this one? What happens?
I don't know. I have the note saying, "How do they kill him?" Question mark.
Okay.
Question mark. And we both watched the movie, Tyson.
Yeah, I totally watched it.
So we don't know either. So if someone could explain it, well, it had to do a lot with burning. He did burn.
He did
They burned
burn,
him.
but why did he burn and Jesse... Is his name Jesse? Jesse come out, be revealed.
Survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know.
there was nothing kind of explicitly spoken that would,
Yeah.
like, it's not like someone said, "Oh, fire will blah 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 blah," and it'll, we didn't
And it'll burn
learn
it.
that.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't that at all.
So it's just a fluke.
So what we saw in the movie, Tyson, was the Kim Myers, who is like a spitting image of Meryl Streep.
Oh, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Bizarre. It's bizarre.
It's ridiculous.
So what happened in the movie? She goes to the boiler room. She finds Freddy. She knows that Jesse is inside Freddy. She confesses her love for him and says, "Please, please, please help him. Please, please come out." Fire starts to come around. She then kisses Freddy Krueger.
That's right.
And then he bursts into flames and Jesse comes out of the ashes. That's literally what we
So
saw.
love saved the day.
Yeah, I think love saved the day there. Yeah.
What a beautiful message.
Amazing.
Her love for
So
a man
good.
who will break up with her within weeks to inform her that
They'll
he's in fact a
friends.
homosexual.
No, they will be good friends.
Oh, of course
And
they will. They'll be
and
best
that'll fun.
mates.
Exactly. Two more things I want to say about Nightmare 2 was that they don't use the theme, my favourite theme, at all.
Oh,
they don't
what's
use
a
it
bummer. I
this
didn't
is the
even notice
only
that.
this is the only movie. They even used the theme in Freddy vs. Jason for crying out loud. But they don't use it in this.
Bummer.
Yeah. And the other one is a friend of mine let me know about, because we always used to talk about Nightmare 2. He let me know about a 2019 doco called Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Which is kind of Mark Patton's story and what happened to him after.
Yes.
And he really wasn't the best time for him. He
No.
had a really hard go of it.
Yeah.
And he's come out at the end and he's all the more better for it. He now does conventions and everyone loves him, and he's basically the biggest. He's a great gay icon out there for people who really need it in a time of need, kind of something to hold on to. But Jesus, he went through the fucking works when this movie came out. He really did.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see that.
It's well worth a watch if someone wants to watch it. But yeah.
Great. I'll check that out for sure, Nicholas. So that means, Nicholas, if that was both our number 6,
Yep.
I need to give you my number 5.
Okay.
So my number 5 is The Dream Master. Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
And that is my number 5.
Hey, we're doing all right. I like this.
I like it. I
like this. Now, Nick, I'm going to have to warn you. Now, I know that Dream Master and Dream Child for me are interchangeable.
Right. That is very true. It's quite similar.
I cannot really discern them in my head at the moment. I'm kind of like, which one was that in? Which one was that in again? So
that was a bit hard, yeah. Especially because Dream 4, The Dream Master, and Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, have the same cast, basically.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit. So Dream Master, we get that little bit of crossover with Dream Warriors. We get Joey and Kincaid and Kristen.
And Kristen,
for
who's
a little
played
while.
by Tuesday Night instead of Patricia Arquette.
But we also get the new cast.
Yes.
Which then 2 of those carry over into 5. So there's this little bit of of overlapping from here on out, which I quite like. I like that there is an element of continuation to these movies. Having said that, that's left me quite confused with Dream Master and Dream Child as to which story was which, because I might as well actually say it now, because we can talk about them both together, because you've already mentioned this movie, but my number 4 was The Dream Child.
Sure.
So and that was what number for you?
That was my number 7.
So you've rated it quite low.
Quite low,
yeah. Interesting.
And that's because I feel that Nightmare 4 was a lot better than Nightmare 5.
Sure.
But yeah, we can talk about them together if you want.
It'll help me out a bunch, because
fair enough.
Well, because I think, and strange enough, I actually do think they work as a pair quite well.
They do, yeah.
You know, we've got now this new protagonist, Alice. Alice, who has quite a nice arc from the start of number 4 to the end of number 5.
She does, doesn't she?
Yeah, I really like where she ends up at the end of 5.
Yeah.
I actually, when she popped up in number 4, I was like, oh no, I can't stand her.
Yeah, great.
And then by the end of it, I was like, yeah, go Alice, kick some ass. I was all about it.
She's a massive arc. Yeah, she's great.
So, just mostly because I was just not on board for this, the stereotypical shy girl thing that they were trying to do in the first 15, 20 minutes of number 4
of the movie. Yeah,
it just felt when you were surrounded by these other interesting characters, like even having Kristen obviously played by a different actress, but you still have residual memory of how cool she is in Dream Warriors. And then you've got God, what's the one with the huge big perm hair who dies in like a Cronenberg movie goes full body horror. Like she's awesome.
Debbie? Her name was Debbie. I don't know.
Yeah, and the little bookworm one who had a real spunkiness to her. Like you think she was going to be the nerd, but she was basically just hanging shit on everybody. Was real ballsy. And then you have Alice, and it's just kind of like, oh, you're a bit of a wet blanket, aren't you? Amongst some of these really interesting characters. So I was glad that her arc was so strong because by the end of it, I was really on board.
Yeah. It is kind of funny how her arc happens as well. Like we're really in the middle of the fantasy element of Nightmare on Elm Street at this point. There's no reality has kind of gone, especially after Dream Warriors. Like so because what's her name? Kristen? Yeah.
Kristen.
Because she dies and she has the power to bring people into her dreams.
Yes.
She gives that power to Alice, and Alice, when all of her friends die, even her brother dies.
Her brother has the terrible ninja death. The karate fight.
We'll talk about him. God, he's so fucking bad. When all of them die, eventually all of their strengths become go into Alice and become part of Alice, and that's how she, gets the confidence.
Which is a new power? That wasn't... So Kristen couldn't do that in the third one, could she?
No, yeah.
So she's developed this extended power. Yeah. So not only can she bring people into her dreams, but if they die, she absorbs their dream power.
Exactly.
Which, to be
That's
like,
insane.
and I'm going to be honest, tell me you didn't kind of have a little cheer when she had that full commando style, suit up moment. And she's strapping on the nunchucks and putting on the
nunchucks. Yeah.
As the worst stunt double you've ever seen, by the way, doing that nunchuck.
It was
flip.
The worst wig. The wig was so bad.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that is not her.
That is not her at all. But then, it's a full good old fashioned suit up sequence. And I was like, all right, let's fucking do this. And I was I was jazzed, man.
Pumped. Yeah. Totally pumped. Yeah. I do love that, this movie kind of sticks out. I really like this one. But this is the changeover. So when Nightmare 4 comes out, it was 1988. We'd had 3 Nightmare on Elm Street films, and the first 2 were R-rated, Tyson. The Dream Warriors and this one started getting into the M15 plus for us.
Sure.
So if you look at it in Nightmare 4, there's no blood in this movie. And you're dealing with a Freddy Krueger who has knives.
Really?
Knives on his glove hand. Yeah, there's no blood.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. That never really crossed my mind.
But yeah, so it's lovely and friendly.
Well, I mean, we haven't really mentioned. Sorry, I was just going to say we haven't really mentioned any of the directors yet because none of them are particularly. I mean, Ronnie Yu's kind of a big deal, but this is when we start getting into the big name directors. As well, and these people are the kind of directors that have have character to the direction. This looks like a Rennie Harlan movie. It really does.
It does.
He's slick. He's a slick director. He makes things look really good, really great 90s aesthetic. And so he's quite young here, and I think was it his first film?
Yeah, this was his first film. Yeah, but his second.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you can see where he's going. You can really see where he's going to end up. It's got this sharpness, this slickness, this real energy to it. And they talked about it it's like the MTV Freddy. And I totally see that, that real youthful energy that would run into, movies like Cliffhanger and especially Long Kiss Goodnight, that vibe that he's got. So, it's funny how those first 4 films don't really have a ethereal stamp. You know what I mean? They're just kind of anyone could have directed some of those, and you wouldn't know any different. But this one, you can really, from now on, we can really start to see the quality of having directors.
A really decent director. Yeah.
Helping.
Well, that's where I think, especially going from Wes to whoever that second director was.
His name's Jack Scholder.
Yeah, not a big fan, but yeah, I totally get that. That's great, and especially like Rennie went from this movie, because Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is the one that made the most money as well, apart from Freddy vs. Jason. But out of the Nightmare series, this one made the most money, and he went from this to Die Hard 2. Like that's a mad jump.
That is a jump, isn't it?
Big jump. Yeah, that's huge.
I fucking love Die Hard 2.
Yeah, how good is Die
I
Hard 2?
haven't watched that for years. I'm going to watch that soon. That might be my first November watch, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not to say that this movie isn't... There's moments in this movie that are great. Like that bug sequence as she turns into a...
I love it.
Like you were saying before, the Cronenberg bug.
Yep.
That's my favourite bit of this movie.
It's gross. It's messed up.
Disgusting. It's scary.
Yeah. But, you know, and... There's the criticism that all his kills become too jokey. And to be honest, yes, I see that. I do. For me, there's only really one movie where I can't stand how jokey it is. But
oh, sure.
This one, for me, I just kind of revel in the creativity of it all. I'm just like, he can crack a few jokes here and there. It's just so fucking creative, though. Like all the makeup work, all the like the really out there ideas that they're coming up with. Basically from something as simple as she's just like, oh, I just don't like bugs or whatever. She's got a phobia of bugs, and then it's like, all right, cool, that's all we need. We got it. We're gonna make some real fucked up like body horror shit, like The Fly, The Fly style. And I love it. I just love that that's the angle they go on now to try and be as creative as possible.
Yeah, the other one that really works and that sticks in my head, and I think like this stuck in my head to the point where it was kind of a phrase that I remembered even as a kid, was the "wanna suck face."
Oh,
and how she has asthma and he basically just drains her of everything, and she just becomes a sack.
Yep.
And you're like, whoa, that was
rough.
That was fucked. Yeah, it was good.
And poor Joey gets killed again. Like, I mean, he's just got to keep it in his pants, really, and he'll be fine.
Dude, man.
I think that's what we've discovered about poor old Joey.
Yeah, maybe just calm down, just calm down.
Just take a cold shower, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine, just relax. Oh, you know what I do love? Oh, speaking of imagery, Kincaid's death, how it pulls back and he's like in this world of
I do love that shot.
How good is that shot?
Like a weird kind of hedge maze of trashed cars.
Yeah. Trash cars, like in a car lot or whatever.
Yeah.
That's insane.
See, I think, and part of the reason why I think I kind of confused this movie and the next one and they're all a bit mooged up is because the overlap with those three from Dream Warriors, it's a good half an hour of this movie before we really establish this new bunch of kids as the leads of this movie. There's this weird kind of half an hour at the start where it could go either way, you know what I mean? Like Kristen and Alice are kind of buddies and Kincaid and Joey are kind of floating around, but there's also these other crew. But
they're kind of not friends at school. They kind of like want to be friends with her, but they're kind of like, yeah, we know she knows them. He's like, can you go away? I'm not really friends with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, hang on a minute, we were the Dream Warriors, you fucking pricks. Come on, man.
We're your Dream Warriors. That's what they should sing at her.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't you remember we had a song and everything?
We had a song. We were double platinum. Fuck you.
What else do I like? So I think I mentioned this to you in passing, but there is 100% an addition to our stupid movie runs in this movie, and that is the character, the brother. I can't remember his name. Karate Death.
Who cares? Karate Death, dude.
Who at one point he says a line of dialogue. He just answers somebody's question like, what
are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're kind of dropping off like flies. And he goes,
and it's basically just wants to go talk to his sister and runs in the strangest way I've ever seen.
Like he pelts, like he just flies. Like,
and he's got his coats bellowing in the background. But
he runs to the point where his end game to stop, he doesn't realize what he's going to do, so he kind of like spins and you're like, what are you doing? Like, talk about overacting, you dickhead.
He's really putting his all into that run. I think it was because they were like, you need to get from this spot to that spot in 3 seconds, buddy. Go.
Yeah.
Fucking
come on. Go.
That's it. Yeah. Fire up.
Fucking hell. His character's name was Rick. He was horrible. I really didn't. Yeah, it was Rick. I really didn't like him.
No, he's useless, and he had a shit death too.
Yeah.
Very
disappointing. Well, they ran out of money. It wasn't his fault. They did run out of money.
I mean, I'm not blaming him personally for the way his character died.
I'm now you're a dickhead.
So how does she?
How do they kill him in this one, Tyson?
So is this the one where?
Go on.
So she has the big brawl with him in like the church.
Yep. Keep going.
What happens after that? And
she has like a little contraption that her friend made. A little box where, do you remember this?
No.
That she turns on and kind of disrupts the. I have no idea.
What?
After that,
are you making that up?
I forget how. No, I'm not making it up. No, it's in the montage where she gets ready. She puts it on her belt.
Yeah, okay.
And she goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck him up with this."
Okay, sure.
And she gets it out and kind of smashes him with it. Yeah.
To be honest, I quite enjoy when characters just beat the shit out of Freddy. I don't know what it is, but it tickles me. And so when she's just like karate ninjaing him and nunchucking him, I'm just like, yeah, this is fun. I'm on board for this. This is great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think I was more. The ending I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. But this one for me is the most forgettable, I think. Like, this is the one that immediately...
The ending?
No, like the whole
movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie. 4?
I think, yeah.
Oh, really?
I think this movie ends and I literally have forgotten it. Like, most of the things that we're talking about is because you jogged my memory. You started talking about something and I went, oh, yeah, that bit.
Oh, yes, I do remember this movie. Oh.
But I would really struggle to recount the plot to you. And I think for most of the other ones, I'd be okay. This one, real rough.
I do remember how they kill him.
Yeah.
So yeah, she uses that thing. It disrupts him somehow, and then the souls inside him tear him apart. So you've got an arm that comes out, it grabs him about the mouth. Some bits grabbing him on the head and shit like that. Yep. And his souls literally pull him from the inside out.
Yeah, I do remember.
And that's how he dies.
Yeah, very good.
Hey,
victory.
Victory is mine.
So we can move on to the Dream Child then.
The Dream Child.
Which was, my number 4, your number 7.
Yes, so this one I definitely forget. I'm like,
interesting.
This one. Yeah.
I like this one a little bit more because I really liked the idea of the baby being in like a constant sleep state. I thought that was really interesting.
That was a good way to do it. Yeah, keep going.
And because the baby's inside Alice, she's kind of susceptible to it as well at the same time. I just think that was kind of an interesting angle to go on it. I think I've told this story before as well, but this was the trailer for this was like one of the first times as a kid that I remember having exposure to Freddy Krueger because I saw the trailer for this as a kid.
Yes.
Like as a 5-6-year-old. Because what year would this be? 89, 88?
This was 89. Yeah,
so 7-year-old kid.
Yep.
Obviously knew about Nightmare on Elm Street, knew about that kind of stuff, but had never really looked at moving images of Freddy because it's obviously you got to remember back in the day it was a lot harder. We couldn't just YouTube a trailer. All we had was still images on the back of video covers and things like that.
Yes.
So when I saw
walking down the horror movie aisle
and kind of like half peeking at things and trying not, and then and knowing which ones you could look at because it wouldn't give you nightmares.
Yep.
But the first time I saw this trailer, I shat my pants because there was the music, the fucking nursery rhyme, and the bassinet, or whatever you call it.
Yep, the big bassinet.
And, 1, 2, friends coming for you. And I was just like,
A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child.
Yeah.
Scary.
Really scary. So I have I have a bit of nostalgia for this one. And I ended up being like, hey, this wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think literally what you've just said, I think that's why I rate 6 so high. But yeah,
okay, sure.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. But yeah, I don't mind. Obviously there are moments in this that I like. It's just that overall, it's more forgettable for me. I wish that how he returns, how Freddy comes back from what they've done. I felt that the way that this happened, it was just like he came out of nowhere and was like, oh, he's back because we thought of him and now he's just back. And I'm like,
hang on, no, wasn't this one where he was born and then grew? It wasn't...
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. From a dream state?
So I think, I don't... Was he in the movie before that dream flashback?
No.
That birth flash? No. Yeah, so for me, this one feels like it's one of the ones where there is a little bit more... I mean, it's all fucking nonsense. But...
Yeah.
But at least this one had, like, written down nonsense. Like, somebody went, okay, so she dreams that she's Amanda Kruger. She dreams that she gives, because she's pregnant, she dreams that she gives birth to Freddy, and then he manifests from that. I was kind of like, that's better than nothing. That makes no sense to me. But none of it makes sense, Nicholas. None of it makes any sense.
That's a good point. I like how he comes back in number 3. In number 4, coming back that way, the fact that
I don't even remember how he. Oh, that's right. The dog pisses.
He came back, the devil dog pisses on him, and he came back. I was like, I actually like that. That was badass. That was good. But yeah,
there are there's some elements to these movies that when the Amanda Kruger stuff gets a bit too much, but in this one I actually quite liked it. That because I liked that he was afraid of her. Like, she was like a force that could threaten him. I kind of dug that. The way, so she throws open those doors in his dream, and you see him just go, oh no, she's here. I was kind of like, all right, we're gonna get a brawl. A nun is gonna punch on with Freddy. I am, sign me up. It didn't quite eventuate in that, unfortunately, but just I liked that the two stories happening where it's like one of the girl who. The girl who was her best friend, who was like a waste in this movie, because at one point you just kind of say, hey man, just get on board. Like, she spends the whole movie being like, no, there's no such thing as Freddy, and
he doesn't exist.
I'm like, literally, your friends are just all dead now. It's just you and her
dropping off like flies,
and you
don't know.
Yeah, and you're still like, no, it's not happening. It's nonsense. And what do you think's happening?
Where are you living? What the fuck? And she's like, I've got a final to study for. You're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm gonna go do some diving. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so she's nuts, but I actually like that she's got her own little story where she's trying to go free Amanda Kruger, who has been trapped in that behind the wall in the castle, while Alice is got her own battle with the kid and Freddy, and it goes all labyrinth for a little bit with the full upside down stairwells and shit.
Yes, yes. That was really good. Speaking of that fucking. In that place, that was an insane matte painting. Speaking of matte paintings, Tyson, that we always talk about.
Oh yes,
my God, that asylum was fucking scary as hell. How good was that?
Yeah, I loved it. Really loved it.
That was so good.
We don't get many of them in this series, so it was really nice to see a couple of big, really well designed matte paintings. I was on board.
Yes. One of the biggest things I really love about this, about 4, 5, and 6,
right,
is a lot of the lore kind of coming to the forefront, and they don't show a lot of it, and they kind of did that on purpose because they don't want to give too much away. But how Amanda Kruger was locked in an asylum with 100 maniacs for a weekend, and they just had their way with her for a full weekend. And Jesus, God, that's absolutely petrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, isn't it? It's
just the look of it. The look of the asylum was great. The fact that Robert Englund, out of makeup, was one of the scary guys walking around.
Is that in 4 or is that in 5? I get them, like I said, I get them mixed up. Was that in 4 or 5?
There were scenes of them in both,
okay.
But you get more of a look of it in this one.
Okay, sure.
Because in 4 you see the other actress play Amanda Kruger, whereas in this one, what is her name?
But just at the beginning, though, because when she when she rocks up in the dreams, though, it's a different actress playing her, isn't it? It's not Alice.
Yeah, no. In 5, it's Alice playing. Amanda Kruger.
Always, even when she rocks up in the dreams.
No, not in the Nun. Not in the Nun. That's another actress.
Yeah. So that's not Amanda Kruger then.
No, that is Amanda Kruger.
Okay.
Amanda Kruger was a nun.
Yeah.
So
it's just it's just in the flashbacks, not in the dreams.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's because I think because it's two different actresses that play the same character at different points in the movies. That's why in my head I've gone, well, some of them must be in 4 and some of them must be 5 because they wouldn't put the same actress doing different things. But so I'm a bit. This is part of my confusion with this series.
Two things that has to be mentioned for the 5 that it does really well, and one. That Robert Englund talks about is his favourite bit in the entire series.
Right.
Is when they use the loop. How Alice and Dan jump in the car and she goes, "I'm driving." They get to their destination. It loops back and she goes, "Yeah, get in the car. I'm driving." And they do it 3 times and then goes, "Hang on a minute, we've done this before."
Yeah.
And that's what happens in dreams.
I could have swore that was in 4, and when they said that it was in 5 in Never Sleep Again, I was like, what? No, I honestly, I would have put $100 on it that it was in number 4.
No.
Yeah, I know, which
That
is
was
weird.
so good.
Because I thought he died
Yeah.
first in 5.
Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, he dies quite early, but yeah, no.
So the loop
early-ish.
stuff must happen
But
really
the loop
early.
stuff
in 5.
happens at the end.
Yeah. I
No, it
watched
happens at
it,
the end.
but he's dead though.
No, it happens at the end. I'm saying he dies. He's one of the ones to die early.
So hang on. So the loop stuff happens after he's dead.
No, the loop stuff happens while he's alive.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff is quite early in the movie.
Yes. Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's.
That was crazy.
Oh, I watched these one after each other, and Nick, I did this differently this time. I spaced these out a lot. Like I started watching
Right.
these movies late August.
We did. We watched them. Yeah.
I don't think it's the way to go. I was thinking about that the other night. I was like, I think it's actually
They have to be.
I think I need to watch them closer together, and as a
right.
build up to this episode, because I watched these
You
2
got
movies probably now about 6 weeks ago, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck happened in these movies?
Yeah, right.
I remember, like I said, I remember what I liked, but specifics are getting really, really rough.
Yeah. One of my favorites in this movie, and it has to be said, is Dan's death on the motorbike.
I love Dan's death.
My God, that is
Yeah.
fucking scary as hell.
He looks
and how
so
he turns
good.
into how he turns into like a thing, like a beast
Like
thing.
a full demon motorbike.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it's
scary
real
as hell,
kind of it kind of reminds me like of anime almost, like
Yeah, like Akira type deal.
kind of that technology infecting kind of style.
Yeah. Ghost
I
in the
thought
Machine.
I thought the design was fantastic. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I could do without
really good.
Freddy's basically finding
Face.
like he becomes the motorbike, and he basically
Yeah, I
every
didn't like
single
that either.
every pun that you can think of to do with a motorbike, he finds a way to to slip it in.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, I wasn't a big after 3. Is it after 3? Yeah, after 3, I find Freddy to be like he's the best thing about these series, but he becomes an entity. He's not an entity to fear. He's more just an enemy to fight. They're like, no, we have to fight him. We have to get him. They're not scared of him at all.
Yeah.
Do you know
And
what I
look, I don't mind. I'll be quite honest. I don't hate it the way I know some people do, where it's just like, no, he's just a joking idiot now, and it's totally ruined it, and all that kind of stuff. I actually don't mind it that much. I roll my eyes a little bit at some of it, but sometimes I kind of find it quite like I appreciate how much he loves killing people. Like, I think that's what makes his character not endearing, but gives it longevity, is that we kind of see the joy that it brings him, and so he's laughing and having a fucking jolly old time. But that's infectious for us, and so we're engaged with him because of how much he loves it. So I of course I prefer threatening Freddy from the first and the second film, but I don't have I don't hate the funny Freddy the way some other people do.
No, I don't hate it either. It's just I know that it changed. You have to remember, I always go into a movie, and I'm not a fan of people who don't do this. When you're going to watch a movie from the 90s or the 80s, you have to remember that it was that time. Like it was, 1989 is a very different time to when we are now. So, that character had to evolve into something. And for this, it evolved into a character who made puns and killed people in different way and was more like, at this point in 1989, you could get like Freddy lunchboxes and pajamas and bed sheets for kids and show bags and dolls and all this stuff. So he was huge at this point. But yeah. Number 5. Now this is Dreamchild. I actually don't know how they kill him. I even wrote it down. I said I just watched him die. I still don't know how he died.
Oh, I know this one.
Yeah.
So
do you know this one?
I know this one. Well, so they have that weird moment where they meld bodies. I don't really understand what's going on there.
Yep.
That's just whatever that is.
Sure.
But the kid has because he has the souls in him that Freddy's killed, because Freddy is sending them to the baby.
Right.
Because that's how he's going to take over the baby, because once the baby has enough souls,
it becomes Freddy.
It's all nonsense. And then so the kid spews out the souls at Freddy, and they break him apart.
And they tear him apart.
Yeah. Because there's that's a bit where you can see all their faces at the end of that weird stringy goo, and it's all gone.
Tendrils.
Tendrils, and it's gone through him, and it's got their faces on it.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Fucking insane. This is why I don't like 5.
It's all insane. It's all insane.
It's all insane.
At least every time we watch these movies, at least I'm going to be kind of slightly surprised by the ending, because every time I'll get there and be like, "Now, how does he get it in this one?" Oh yeah, that's right.
Exactly. And that's kind of why I like them. That's why I like, because I forget as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, how do they kill him in this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love this one.
I do need to say as well, I don't hate the comic book guy's death, and I know that that's one of the all-time least favourites.
Super Freddy.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's kind of creative. I think the character has been set up enough. Like, it doesn't feel like a generic, like we say with the bug girl. Oh, she's afraid of bugs. Let's have her turn into a bug. That's like a really, very thin connection. Whereas they've built him up as a comic book lover. He's like the pop culture guy. He's a bit of a nerd. He's like, he hides away in his own work. Like, they did the work for it. They did the long yards to make it make sense. So I don't mind it. I think it's really, I think it's quite creative, really. And I like when he becomes, I like it when any of the dreams where the kids kind of try to stand up to him. I find those the more enjoyable ones. And so him turning into his favourite character to try and take on Freddy, to me, I find that kind of a bit, like courageous. And I'm on board.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Which is why Dream Warriors works. Like, that's really good.
Once we do talk about that, it's clear that that's the best stuff in Dream Warriors, I reckon.
So director for 5 is Stephen Hopkins.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Ghost in the Darkness, man.
After this, he went on to do Predator 2. And one of our favourites,
course.
Tyson, which I'm a big fan of, I need to watch this again, is Blown Away. Whoever hasn't seen Blown Away, look that up. 1994, you've got Jeff Bridges and Tommy Lee Jones, and it is a secret love of mine. I love this movie.
We are kind of in the minority with that, but I think it's a secret gem as well. I really enjoy it. See, it's funny. He's kind of jumped around as a director. He's a bit of a journeyman. Just kind of picked up whatever he's wanted to, and different genres here and there and things like that. He doesn't necessarily have a particular aesthetic style, but like, there's just an assuredness. That's it. There's just an assuredness to his skill that, even though I think 5 is really pushing the boundaries of ridiculousness, because he's got enough skill to rein it in, you know what I mean, and just keep it this edge of it. I know that to a lot of people, these aren't popular opinions. I think most people feel like they're all garbage except for 1 and 3, but
they're fine. I think they're great.
Yeah, I find a lot to like in them, especially in these ones where you can see the touch of people that are perhaps a little bit more have a little bit more natural ability as a director.
Yeah, and also they were trying new things, like doing a horror movie, and especially a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. You get to play with a lot of things. There's a lot of imagery. It's dealing with nightmares, which can be anything, and so it's kind of a blank palette.
You're never going to be. I can't imagine I'd ever be bored with any of these movies, because at least, if nothing else, the dream sequences are creative and interesting and keep you kind of guessing a little bit. You're on your toes, because you're just like, okay, well, that made no fucking sense whatsoever, but it was kind of interesting to look at. Whereas I feel like with some of the Friday movies, I'll just be like, and he stabbed another one.
And he dies. Exactly.
Yeah,
Same with Saw. When we were watching Saw, Tyson was like, and the trap works this way.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, sure, I get it.
And even they could have been the most creative traps in the world. It could have been like one of those fucking Rube Goldberg machines of hell. And it could have gone and I'd still just be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Just bring out the pig fat again.
Yeah, pigs! Fucking sick. What are we up to, Tys? What's the next one?
Well, Nick, that takes us actually to because I just did my number 4, which was The Dream Child. What is your number 4?
My number 4, which I dare say will be tabling, Tyson, because I'm pretty sure this will be a lot higher for you, is A New Nightmare.
We will be hanging on to that one for a little bit. Absolutely. So, which means that we move to my number 3, Nicholas.
Your number 3.
Which nice. I think we will then be tabling for a bit, because we're going around in circles, I think. But my number 3 is Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Right, which that will be tabled, yeah.
All right. So what was your number 3 then, Nicholas?
My number 3 is Freddy's Dead, number 6.
Okay, that is I cannot get my head around how you can have this movie as that third favourite, Nicholas.
I know.
What is going on?
It has. It's because I have. Okay, so it's all nostalgia. It's all nostalgia, right? So I have, when I was a kid, I told the story on the last time we did Nightmare on Elm Street. It was in the zeitgeist. Everyone had heard about it when you were a kid, right? But Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead was the first Nightmare on Elm Street I saw. So I think I saw one, and then I saw this.
Okay.
So the trailer, just like For You for Five, was on a movie that I always used to rent. And it got burned into my brain, this trailer. I thought it looked awesome. I couldn't wait to watch Freddy's Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 6. It was fantastic. And then when I hired the movie, when you get up, when you had to get ready for school in the morning, you had to go to the bus or whatever. You always had to wait for your mum and dad to drive you to the bus, or if you had to go. While I was waiting for my mum and dad to have a shower, I would get up early, do everything, be ready, and then watch 10 minutes of a movie. I don't know why the fuck I did this, but for some reason it was always Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Okay. So I saw the first 15 minutes that many times. I don't know. And then I don't know. There are elements of the movie then, now that I've become an adult and watched it, there are moments of this movie that I think really could have worked, really held on to what the original might have, what a genuine Nightmare on Elm Street sequel, had it been kept in Elm Street, might have been. And looking back at what Elm Street turns into when they do go back and have a look, how it is a very Twin Peaks type of town now. And I really like that. I think that is really scary. Like when they go back to there's a carnival and it's all adults.
Well, yeah, Roseanne is pretty terrifying. I'll give you that.
Oh, fuck Roseanne. but yeah, like there's a clown in really shitty makeup, kind of smoking a cigarette in the corner where there's pies and there's all flies around the pies and it's fucked.
I like the one old man riding the Dodgem cars by himself.
Yeah. And that's quite fucking haunting. Like he's just sitting there going all around by himself. Okay. Then they go to the school, and that teacher has completely lost his mind. And is teaching to a class of no one.
Yep.
So yeah, there's elements of the movie that I have to hold on to, and I really, really love. That saying, not to get me wrong, there are elements of this movie that fucking are really bad.
Yeah.
But yes.
Look, and you cannot be begrudged for your how you feel about this movie if you have a personal stake in it, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. And I agree with you. I think there are some interesting ideas there. I think, like I said earlier, like we were talking about that whole idea of whenever they try to remove the idea of Freddy from consciousness, I always find that quite entertaining. And in this regard, it was that the kids just all were dying, so there were no kids left.
Yeah. There were none.
For Freddy to talk about. And so somehow I'm really confused about the plot to this as well. Even when I was watching it, I was like, "Hang on, is he a Springwood kid, or is he somebody else?"
Yeah,
because he doesn't turn out to. Spoilers for this, whatever this one is. You spend half the movie thinking that he's Freddy's son because we're talking about this kid. Freddy's got this kid, but it turns out that it's not him, and he just dies. But so, what's his deal? Where does he come from? He just busts through.
Well, it's kind of a mystery. You don't really know because he is suffering from amnesia. So he could be the very, very last of the Elm Street children.
Right.
So
he comes from Springwood, but Freddy throws him out into the rest of the world with amnesia.
Correct. Yep.
Right. And hoping that he will draw people back into Springwood. Okay.
He will tell people about Freddy Krueger, and then Freddy would be able to, attack these kids from other towns.
But it kind of backfired because he has amnesia. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
So that wasn't part of the plan?
Probably not.
Probably not. No, it seems like that would put a spanner in the works.
He doesn't know who he is, but yeah.
So I like that idea. I'm trying to think of what else I don't mind.
That's all right. I love the intro. The intro is one of my faves. Apart from the bus and him in that house and on the plane, that's very. There's something on the wing, Twilight Zone style.
I didn't mind the plane sequence. That was okay.
Yeah, but apart from him rocking up in the window, "I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too."
Oh, stop it!
That can get fucked. Like that can really.
Do you know the one that I really just found so unbelievably obnoxious, and it's probably because I also don't like this sound, but with the blackboard. When he brings out the blackboard,
really?
It became like it was like a silent movie. He's there and he's like, aha, what have I got here? I've got a blackboard. And then he brings out his arm. He's like, da da da. What's that? It's and then he just starts rubbing on it. And it's just like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. This is the point past where I find it tolerable for me.
Right.
5 is like juggling that line so carefully and it's almost over. 6 is like someone has well and truly pushed me over the line. Like they've just it's miles. It's disappeared miles behind me.
Yeah. I agree with you. The kills in this movie suck. I hate all of them. The bed of pins, the Power Glove video game.
Oh my god, Breckin Meyer as the video game, and it goes for so long too.
Yeah, it really does.
It's like 10 minutes of this movie is watching Breckin Meyer awkwardly walk around the house, like, and
it's horrible. It's fucking stupid.
And then have it mixed up with all these terrible, terrible gags about. Good graphics. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like,
Super Spencer. And you're like, oh, this is shit. Fuck off. And you know what I also hate that it does? Like, and it does it with John Doe as well when he's walking around. For some reason, when you're dreaming in Nightmare on Elm Street 6, you sleepwalk. So if you walk upstairs... In the real world, you're walking up nothing, so you magically walk upstairs. And I'm like, hang on a minute, this doesn't happen. Fuck off.
Suddenly gives people lots of extreme powers that I didn't know that they had.
Yeah. Hence why Spencer goes around, just punching up the entire house. I'm like, this is shit.
And then they also just don't even kill him in the game. He just... Like, they don't find a clever, creative way for him to... Like, maybe in the game, something happens and he gets squashed by, a Goomba or something, in real life, he grossly gets squashed down to the ground or something, and it's really quite, it could be quite violent. But no, that doesn't happen. He just falls through a pit in the floor or something, and a void into nothing. And it's like, come on, like, you're not even committing to the end of your bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, at the end of that sequence, you're kind of written off. You're like, okay, Nightmare on Elm Street sucks.
I was
this can get fucked.
Checked out.
Yeah. Right up until what's the character's name? She, not Maggie. It's Nightmare on Street 6. It was, what was the name? She survived. She was the one that threw the pipe bomb.
Yeah.
Her nightmare of her father coming to attack her again because, Tracy, her name was, that kind of was like, well, hang on a minute. There's something here. What are you doing here? Because that was very realistic and a very different type of dream. That wasn't Nightmare on Elm Street 6 at all. Instead of a Nintendo dream sequence where he was beating him up in a video game, this was Freddy using what her past is to her and really quite fucking her up. Like, that was really good, I thought. But unfortunately, she doesn't die. So I was like, why does she not die? She has to die. It's so ridiculous that she lives. Why does she live?
That almost makes me more frustrated, though, when I see something like that, because you're right, that is a good idea for one, but it does not belong in this movie at all, because this movie has not given us anything similar to that. And so now that becomes just super duper jarring. We're like, all of a sudden we're dealing with really intense personal, like, family abuse issues. And it's like, all right, fuck yeah, that's pretty intense, right? But the last guy died because he became a video game character. Like, this is, we're not in the, this is not a consistently made movie.
It's all over the shop.
Yeah. And also, I don't give a shit about these people. Either. And that's a big problem for me, like I was saying before. The only character I really care about is I don't care about the character that I find kind of entertaining is Yaphet Kotto as the weird doctor guy who believes her, like, straight off the bat. It's just like, dream's fucked up. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's totally true. Oh, there are so many. I'm just reading over my notes again. There's so many things that I actually don't like about this movie, but I do rate it quite highly. That's
that's
funny.
fine. That's something. If you have a good time and it's like it has a nostalgic value, you can't replace that, and you can't justify that. It's just one of those things, and that's totally fine. Like, I had no connection to it whatsoever. This was my 8th, so this was way down the bottom for me.
Whoa,
and this is what I was
really down.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about before when I was saying I hated this and the remake equally, but the reasons I hated this were nowhere near as offensive as the reasons I hated the remake. You know what I mean?
The reasons that this doesn't work, it just doesn't work.
If they're just
it's
kind
all
of
over the
innocent
shop.
reasons. It's just people trying to be too funny, trying to be too silly, not really managing the tone, trying to be too convoluted, and all of
it was too much meddling. It didn't know what it was trying to do.
And
Like seriously,
also, we did mention before that we like. And I agree. I like the way the lore gets expanded, but it has we have to be really careful about how it's done. And I think in this one, it's also way too much. It's now like it's now like I've basically there still needs to be a sense of mystery about the character.
Okay.
And
I really like the moments in the backyard where he's playing with his daughter, and I find that petrifying. I really do. Like how he's
I don't mind Alice Cooper as his dad. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was pretty badass. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I did like that.
Hang on, this is where I was a little bit confused. If Alice Cooper's his dad, it's his stepdad, right? Because his dad was was the dudes in the asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that mean that Alice Cooper married a nun? Or
no, I think
he was adopted out, was he?
I think he was adopted out, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not.
Doesn't really pan it all out, but yeah, I'm thinking that was it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that kid that played young Freddy was kind of interesting.
He was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had something going for him.
They cast well in that. That was a bit scary.
And I also didn't mind. Oh well, I tell a lie. I kind of hated it because of the chant that they sang. But
Son of 100 Maniacs.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Like, I know kids are mean, but fucking hell. As if that story's getting out. Nobody's, like, if that story gets out, you move. You're moving, to another state, to another country, because you're not living with that.
That poor kid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where, I get it's like dream logic and all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. But to me, it was, I found that scene was looking like it was going to be interesting and then was just ruined by, like, the most obvious thing you could think of. Like, let's just have the kids chant that at him. Whereas it could have been like more. It could have explored a little bit more, in a personal way.
Don't have those kids. Have him kill the hamster or whatever it is on his own. In his own little thing, and then find out that he actually enjoys that.
What do you think of the? Have you seen this in 3D? Have you seen the 3D section before?
I have. I do own that 3D section.
So which box set still has the 3D?
Well, I have it on the big one. Remember the big photo that I took? So there's an option to watch that section in 3D.
Right.
And unfortunately, I had to source my own glasses, my blue and red cellophane glasses. But because they didn't come in the box. They did in the original when you first got Freddy's Dead. And it even came in the VHS, Tyson.
Wow.
Back in our day. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. You got a pair. They if you have Nightmare on Elm Street 6 3D glasses on your person, I'm pretty sure they're worth quite a mint.
I would imagine they would be worth a fucking bucket load. So you have seen the 3D section. How does the 3D work?
Oh, it looks terrible.
Yeah, right.
It looks terrible. Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's terrible. And that's the thing. Like, I think that another one of New Line and Bob Shea trying to push on something. Let's try a 3D thing instead of focusing on maybe the storyline and the plot and maybe giving the characters a bit more room to breathe and things like that. I think they really jumped the gun.
I don't mind the idea of the dream world being the 3D sequence, like the way that if you go into Freddy's subconscious, it's like, look how wonderful it is. It's in 3D. But I think what they ended up doing is focusing far more on, like, look at this cool shot, the way I'm holding this weapon towards the camera. They were more worried about that than they were worried about telling a good finale to this character, because he gets fucking pipe bombed. Like, what a...
Yeah, it's so pathetic.
A disappointing
ending.
It's
really pathetic.
Considering all the really absurdly creative ways we've seen him cark it over these movies, he gets pipe bombed.
Six is the worst.
It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
It's worst. I'd rather take 2. Killed by Love. I'd rather take that.
That's
at least
far more interesting.
That was. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a far more, because it's his daughter as well, that you could have done all kinds of things. You could have done, one of those things where it's like, she forgives him or something, and, or, I don't know, I'm reaching a bit because it's a bit much. He's done some pretty bad shit. But, maybe something a bit more thematically interesting, and then it's like, it's just, we just jammed a pipe bomb in his chest. It's basically, it's equivalent to Ant-Man up the butt of Thanos. That's what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, oh, we just blew it up. And
Which blur.
And we're all good. Everything's fine.
That's so funny. God damn.
Oh, God.
Oh, Freddy versus... Yes.
Freddy's
What's
dead.
next?
Freddy's
What's the next
dead.
one?
Well, I'm up to my third... Oh, hang on. I said my third, and you said your third.
You said your third?
I'm up to my second, I think.
What's my... Really?
Because you've got... How many you got left? 2?
I think I've got... No, I've got 3 left, because we haven't...
Oh, hang on. No, it works, because your 2 is my 3 that we've tabled for later,
okay.
and my 2 is your 4 or 5 that we've tabled for later. So,
correct.
My number 2 was New Nightmare.
Which is my number 4.
Which is your number 4.
Cool.
I loved this. I was within I was within a stone's throw of putting this at the top of my list, Nicholas.
Jesus.
I absolutely loved it.
I understand. Yeah, I completely understand. This is a lot of people's favorites, and I understand why this is yours, Tyson, because this is very closely to one of your favorites, which is Scream. This is
it has a lot in common,
tell
absolutely.
him.
Yeah.
A lot of things have to do with Scream with a New Nightmare, and it's just so meta. This movie, it's hilarious.
Look, and that whole concept can be really frustrating at times, but for me, like, I just really dug it. I thought it's sometimes you can have like too meta, and it can be really obnoxious. But I didn't feel that way with this one at all. I felt like it was maybe it was because it was. I kind of tried to think of it as like a 1994. Was it 94 when it came out around then?
95.
95. So I tried to kind of think of back then and go, well, nobody even understood what the idea of meta was back then. Like that would people,
totally.
Now it's kind of a bit old hat because everybody's had a crack at it. You know, we've broken the fourth wall in basically every single TV show, movie. Like everyone's had a go at it. We've had series based entirely around breaking the fourth wall and stuff like that. So back then though, it was such a novel idea. And becomes so interesting when you think about how, like, characters when you think about the idea of like horror movie characters and the power that they have in the real world, like, and little things massively. Like the way that they can influence our lives, like the way that they can, I had to sleep with a nightlight on for fucking year and a half because of the ghost face from Scream, like, and I was a 15-year-old kid and I still had to have a nightlight on, like, but that, like.
Yeah, that's how much power they have.
That's it. That's the power those characters have, and this movie's kind of exploring that in a way that I find really, really interesting. Yeah, and
absolutely.
I'm just all about it. All about it. And I know it has faults. I think there's some pretty dodgy performances here and there. It's not his best looking film either. Wes, he kind of
it's kind of B grade-ish.
It's got flat spots in it. Like every now and then, you just kind of like that. Just had no life in it, that shot.
There's no lighting. It feels like there's no lighting.
I think maybe whoever is his DOP, I don't know if it was the same person that worked on Scream, but they feel like, from a visual standpoint, they feel like completely different movies. Like thematically, it's very similar, and the energy is similar. But this looks kind of crappy compared to Scream.
Yeah, it really does. So this is the one that I had the new take on. So New Nightmare has always been like, oh yeah, that was fun. I prefer 6, things like that. I'd rather watch 1. But this is the one where I watched it and I was like, this is actually really good. Probably maybe because I saw some things that I didn't normally see. Like one of my favorites is the fact that Robert Englund himself is actually quite scared in this movie.
Oh yeah.
As a character, he's quite scared. He doesn't really know what's going on. He's like, I need to, and the fact that he kind of has to sit this one out. He goes,
he just does a runner.
I'm gonna. I have to. I'm kind of busy with some things I need to take care of. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
But yeah, geez, it was really, really good. Even I really loved. Do you know whose acting was spot on in this movie? Wes Craven's.
Wes Craven's good.
Was great.
Yeah, I thought so too. Not in any kind of like. It's almost like accidentally he stumbled across a good performance because he kind of plays it as
he's just delivering his lines.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
But it gives it this, because I think he's probably not very confident, obviously, as an actor, because it's not his bag. He gives the character this real sense of uncertainty, and it carries across really well because you can see that he's very unsettled by what's happening and isn't comfortable leading it and having this responsibility, when in reality that's probably just because he's shit scared of having to act in front of a camera. But it came across really well in the context of the film, so I was like, that's really clever.
Yeah. I really like it. It's good. And Wes blurs the lines between... I know it's talked about throughout this entire series, but Wes in this movie, I think, blurs the lines between dreams and reality. Actually, probably the best in this movie.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think it really... And coming to the climax with John Saxon.
Oh, John Saxon.
Who plays her dad, calling her Nancy out the front of her house. I was like, "This is great! What the fuck?"
That is truly a great moment when suddenly you realize that she's wearing that same nighty kind of outfit. The house. They're suddenly outside the house. He's changed into his police,
in his cop uniform,
and he's like, "What why are you calling me John?" Nancy, why
go inside the house? You need to go to bed.
I was just like, I am so geared up for this.
That was
finale.
so good. It was so good. Even the little things like her hair going grey, like it does.
Oh yeah,
in the first one, and the cut on her arm. She gets a cut on her arm from when she goes into the sleep. That's the same cut that she has in this one. And I'm like, man, geez, he knows what he's doing. He really does.
Yeah.
Like, so good. So good.
So I will say all of that stuff, is fantastic, and I really I was so on board for this movie. This is a longer movie. This is like nearly 2 hours.
This is the longest.
So I was on board for a good hour and 40 minutes.
Yep.
I'm really disappointed by the finale because it becomes kind of one of the worst finales of the series.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's really dull, and it's like it's all the things that get frustrating about the other movies at the end, where you're just like, what happened? What actually happened?
Yeah,
and it's all just nonsense in a boiler room or in some kind of cave or whatever, and it just becomes that again. And I was like, that's really disappointing because wouldn't it have been better to go more along the lines of number one, where it becomes like an adventure in the house, or or even like. Be in the boiler room, and have him kind of stalking you instead of this weird kind of
hellscape.
I swear there's a good 5 minutes of him just trying to put his tongue through some bars. And,
a lot of tongue action.
And it's just kind of like, okay, we've seen the tongue special effect. Can we move on to something else? And so I was just... And I love the way, though, that they dive through the water and pop out through the bed again at the end. That's fantastic. But it's just like all the actual fight with Freddy, which isn't really Freddy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the entity of him.
Yeah. It's so disappointing considering all the really good stuff that has come beforehand. So that's what, in the end, that was the reason why I tipped my hat to and said, no, it's not, it can't take top spot. It just can't. Even though I think, the first hour and a half of this is the strongest stuff in the franchise, I reckon.
Yeah, it's quite good. It's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah. But it only works because of the other stuff. Like, because the... it only works because of the affinity we have for the characters and for their legacy. But yeah, it doesn't make it any less good.
I do love what I don't. Oh, you know what I don't like?
What's that?
I don't like the glove. I don't like the glove. I don't like that it has.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, mechanical. It's very 95. That glove.
Well, but I feel like it's kind of commenting on that itself, though, because the way that they're like, we've hired someone to reinvent the glove. You know what I mean? Like it's they've kind of
take an entity of itself.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Well, see, I find it because the whole idea of this demon that isn't actually Freddy, but is inhabiting the image of Freddy to achieve what it's doing. It kind of is Freddy, though, isn't it? Like
it is.
It's a weird kind of thing. It's because this thing has learnt. Because the way that Wes Craven describes it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he describes it in saying that this entity has always existed, and it is an entity that feeds on fear in your dreams.
Yes. And
because we were making the movies, it had enough. Like it didn't feel the need to go further than that. It was able to just allow the movies to do the work for it. Is that what essentially what was happening? So the movies kind of contained the energy? Exactly, yeah. And the reason that he looks different, which I kind of like his look, even though Wes, before he passed away, he said that he actually, going back to New Nightmare, he didn't like the look of Freddy. I actually quite like the look of what he did with Freddy. I like that it's different, and I like what it means by being different. I don't necessarily like the design, but I like the differences and why it is different. Yeah. He actually, Wes said he wanted the original Freddy to look like that. Oh, yeah, right.
That's what he had in mind. So I think I think that might have something to do with what you're saying as the entity of what that is.
Yeah, so
Freddy
it's like it's not so much that the
reality.
entity is inhabiting the image of Freddy. It's that the entity was always that. Is that what I'm kind of getting?
Always, yeah.
And it just so happened that
that's
Wes
right.
stumbled across this image while making the first one, and it was this creature. Is that that's what I'm kind of gathering?
Yeah. That's what I got from Nemo.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre, like, you can go around in circles on this thing, and I love that. I love that so much. Do you know my favorite bit is the line when the conversation between Nancy and Wes Craven is my favorite thing in this movie.
Yeah.
And speaking of Nancy Heather Langenkamp, this is by far and away her best performance of the three that she's in. She's so good in this.
She is. She's really good.
But
it doesn't let up on her at all throughout this movie.
No, it's
she
intense.
is copying it all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, geez, maybe a little bit of a break. Shit.
But the whole idea that the reason why Nancy is such a strong character and that he fears Nancy, the idea that it came from Heather's strength, the actors, I find that really interesting.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Like, I love that conversation when he's kind of like, Nancy's a great character, but you gave her power, you gave her strength. I'm just like, that's so good. That's so fucking good. I'm all about this.
That's great writing.
And it leads to this really nice kind of idea that it was never about that these. Anytime you kind of get to reflect back on movies and pretend like they're actually more than movies, kind of the way that Cabin in the Woods does, the way that it means the way when you finish Cabin in the Woods, it means that you look at every one of those movies and go, well, actually, they were the sacrifices required to keep the demons at bay. Now, this movie we look at and we think, oh, those other movies were actually keeping this entity at bay.
Yes.
And it was only because Heather Langenkamp was a strong performer
character.
And woman that she was able to defeat this character in the movies, even though that someone wrote them. It's this weird kind of like, it just
How
loops
bizarre
around.
is that? That is so good. Yeah. I remember Wes wrote, he dropped the idea, but his character of Wes Craven of himself was actually going to be on the run because Freddy was after him. So he was in a van writing out the script as fast as he could because until he finished it, the entity of Freddy was after him the whole time.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like that. That was cool.
Yeah,
it's understandable why they didn't use it, but yeah.
I know there's actually quite a lot of ways in this movie that you could go, and you kind of go, yeah, that sounds really cool. But it's such a delicate balance of going too far and not going far enough. I like how everyone just kind of feels a little bit uneasy, like how everyone Bob Shay's a bit like, yeah, we're bringing Freddy back, but you can see that he's a bit sweaty and a bit kind of. There's a bit of panic around his eyes.
Unsure.
Wes is kind of doing the same thing, and it pans over to his computer, and the lines of dialogue or the conversation they just had, and you know that in his head, as a character, Wes, he's like, this is the conversation I just wrote. Okay, it's happening. Yep, I have to keep doing this. Like all those kind of little. Where it's more about just internal panic, less about crazy stuff like driving around a bus around trying to on the run from Freddy.
Yeah, it's so good, such a good movie.
Yeah,
I want to watch it again. It's the one that I want to watch again more.
It's for me too. It's the one I want to watch again pretty soon because I really want to appreciate all the other stuff. Because I'm sure I missed a whole bunch of stuff, and especially even just what you were saying about like the wound being the same. I think it's a movie that rewards your knowledge of the franchise. So the more that you've just got, the more that you know these little intricacies, the more you'll appreciate that installment, I think.
Yeah. Like the whole thing, like the babysitter, how she gets killed like Tina does in the first one.
Yeah.
Dragged up the wall.
It's funny how it's not as effective,
floor.
though, in this one.
Oh, no, because you can see him. And it's in the day. It's like a bright room.
Yeah.
As well.
So it's strange. There's something about... I know that's kind of... That scene should be the big, shit's about to get real from here on out. There's something really weird about that scene that doesn't feel right.
It doesn't fit,
I've always thought that moment was a bit... Because this, like I said, this is one I had seen before, but way back in the day when I had no point of reference. So I don't think I really gave two shits about it back then. But yeah, it's a weird moment where the way he slowly appears behind her... And I feel like it should be like this massive big moment and, oh, shit, here we go. It kind of just isn't, though. And I was like, oh, that's disappointing. I feel like the best moment, the best scare is in the wardrobe where
Yeah,
he just
where he's right there.
appears.
He's just appear.
I mean, what does he say? Did you miss me or something?
Fuck. Yeah. Fucking scary.
Yeah.
Really scary.
I find that really, really scary. Oh, and we haven't even spoken about buddy little Miko Hughes.
Yeah, he pisses me off.
Bonkers, absolutely bonkers,
Yeah.
right? As an actor, as a child actor, he
Yeah.
is terrifying. I don't know
Yeah.
if that was my child, it'd be like, all right, see you later, kid.
Cool.
off to the
You
foster
are
home.
off to the mental asylum.
Yeah.
Have a good one, man.
Have a good one. This isn't working out. Nothing personal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely personal. It's 100% your fault. But we're gonna have to cut
but
loose.
the fact that he keeps waking up, he keeps walking around, he keeps screaming for
the
no reason.
screams, the screams.
Oh, like, shut
I will
up,
say
kid.
one thing though. The absolute wonderful element of the dinosaur that protects him in his sleep.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's really.
I was all about that because that's him, and the way that it had like scratch marks in it, but it worked. Like that's the thing. So in his dream, whatever the dinosaur's name was, is a massive, big, strong dinosaur that is his best mate who protects him, and Freddy can't get past that. And I was like, that is fucking
How
awesome.
good is that?
I loved
that's
that. Bit.
Great.
And that's
so good.
stuff that these movies don't always let the protagonists have those little touches. Everything it's always like, if we go to like Dream Warriors, which we will in a second, it's these grand big things. I'm a fucking wizard. It's not.
I've got guns.
It's not the
all this
simple
shit.
things some kind of protection, like that, which is, and for a kid, having like your favorite stuffed toy is your protection, and I think that's really like a sweet element to it, and I really loved that.
It was really good, and it made me think of my son who has a stuffed reindeer, and it's kind of a teddy reindeer that he can't sleep without it, and it's so cute. I never like, it's very movie-ish, like to have something that you sleep with and it protects you and it is your security blanket.
I don't know, man. I had one of those as a kid.
Really? I thought it was made up. I really thought it was. I thought it was one of these things that it was made up for the movies. But no, my son, he can't sleep without him. Reindeer.
I had a super bear. It was a bear with like in a Superman outfit with SB on his chest.
Nice.
Super bear. He was my buddy. I've still got him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, good story.
Yeah. Nice.
I think of all the other movies, we've already obviously done an episode on the original. I think this is the one that would most warrant a full episode discussion as well.
Oh yeah,
this is the one that I feel like has the most to talk about. Where
definitely.
we'd have hours to deconstruct and stuff like that, and it'd be really fun. But yeah, so that was my number 2, which means Nick, I believe your number 2 then
is Dream Warriors.
Very nice. And that was my number 3, so we weren't far off on that one.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, and this seems to be, I was kind of, as I was writing my list, I was like, oh, this is such a basic list. Like, this is, you know when you go, if we went to any list on the internet, I reckon we'd be pretty close to matching up with any other
Anyone
fucker on the
else.
internet's opinion.
Yeah.
But it's, it's hard to go against it when you've got, I think at the top end, Dream Warriors, I have a lot of problems with Dream Warriors, but I think it's just the strong stuff in it is really some of the strongest stuff in the franchise.
It is.
But yeah, there's certain things I just can't get over on that one. But you tell me first, because it's your second favourite.
Yeah.
You tell me why you love this one.
It's probably because it's a true sequel rather than Freddy's Revenge. You're getting something that the guy who works for New Line who talks about it on Never Sleep Again says it much better than I ever will, because he says that like it adds to the lore of A Nightmare on Elm Street. It brings back a character that we know and love, but also has the balls to kill her off. Spoilers for Dream Warriors.
Yep.
We are connected and we love the characters that are in this that we can follow, that also have arcs and things like that. Not only that, the kills and the nightmares themselves are actually quite good. They're tangible. They're something we can hold on to rather than, being killed by a fucking being suck-faced or something like that. They're really being thought out and they're being used. yeah, you're getting great things like amazing prosthetics. You're getting a lot of stop motion animation, which is always one of my faves. And then at the end, you're getting a plan to kill him. Like you have to go and get the bones. You're going to bury them on hollow ground, and we are going to go into the dream, and we're going to pull him out of the dream. Like, so good, so good.
Yeah, it's structurally, it's probably the strongest, even compared to number one. I want to say, because number one has an odd structure to it, and that's one of the things that I always found really interesting about it. Whereas this one feels a lot more traditionally structured. You get your character introductions. There's no kind of there's no fake out with who your main character is. There actually aren't a lot of deaths until suddenly there's a whole bunch of deaths, which gives us a really good opportunity to learn about these characters and get to know them and love them. They're by far the strongest bunch of characters I think that we have. Because really in the first one, don't get me wrong, I think Heather's fantastic.
But we don't get to know the others.
But we don't really get to, aside from Johnny Depp, we don't really get to know the other ones. And even Johnny Depp to an extent, not really.
Not really. No, not really.
So, whereas in this one, I think that they really develop these kids well. And they become really lovable characters. And not just because of their dream powers or whatever, because really that amounts to fuck all in the end. It turns out, which I find
they're really naff. They're naff as fuck.
Yeah, which I'll get to a bit later because that's one of my big problems with this movie. But the stuff with them just hanging out, talking about themselves and their problems, and hanging out with Lawrence Fishburne, just having a dart and just being funny and that's the best stuff, I reckon. That's what I really love.
And how they're dealing with, like, they know that Freddy exists. They're the last of the Elm Street children, blah, 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 whatever. But they're also, like, when they go to bed, when Lawrence Fishburne comes into the room and turns like, all right, lights out, kids, they turn the light off and they go, cool, are you on the first watch? Because I need some sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, yeah, go for it. They've got their pattern down. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Which just,
they're very capable.
So good.
There's some... It doesn't really get dealt with a lot, but there's some undercurrents of teenage suicide elements to it as well. Yeah. Drug abuse, physical abuse. Yeah. So your parental kind of abandonment stuff.
That was fucked up. Like I mentioned this in the when we did the original one.
Yeah.
How the adults in A Nightmare on Elm Street play quite a big role in that they always have to try and make the child go to sleep. Just get some rest. You'll feel better after some rest. They either don't know about Freddy Krueger, or they know about Freddy Krueger because they were one of the ones that burned him alive.
Yep.
And they try to put it in a box and repress the shit out of it. So in this one, I really love it because Patricia Arquette's mum, the actress who plays her mother in this, you can clearly tell that she was one of the parents that went off and killed Fred Krueger.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think that's what we're meant to believe that for sure.
Yeah.
And what else? I think it's a movie that trusts us to that we will become engaged with these characters. So when push comes to shove at the end of the movie, we're really rooting for him. So they put a lot of faith in them. And that simple kind of, it seems obvious on the surface, but just by bringing Nancy back in a kind of authority figure role, not only is she back, it's not like she's on equal footing with them. She's back. She's experienced it. She's the one that won, but she's also boss lady. So she can be like, no, this is what we're going to do. She's Gandalf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really...
She's Gandalf, that's great.
It's a really clever way to use her as well, if you're going to bring her back.
Really smart.
Yeah, lots of really good stuff.
Even the young doctor who ends up going to front up with the dad, because you get John Saxon back in this one as well, who's... he's a security guard now. He's not a cop. He's at the end of his tether. He's a bit of a drunk.
Falling off the rocker. Off the, what's the word? Off the wagon.
Off the wagon.
Off the rocker?
And off the rocker. He's off his rocker. It's a nice way of saying the person's nuts. But yeah, he goes into the junkyard. I love that it's in a junkyard. I absolutely
I love that junkyard set. I think it's really cool.
Damn, it's so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, John Saxon ends up dying.
Yeah,
and
he cops it.
buries the bones and all that shit.
Yep.
God, it was good. Such a good movie.
I prefer that element of it. So here we go. So I will get on to why I get disappointed by this one, because I hadn't seen this since for a really long time. I think this is the one I watched first, way back as a kid, and only watched probably the one time. I probably barely watched it, to be honest, because I was a real wimp when I was younger, and I probably didn't watch the Freddy stuff. I probably peeked through, fingertips. But when I was about to rewatch this, because I was really excited, because I'd heard that this was like the kids taking charge. They've got all these wonderful, it's like, yes, let's take on Freddy with these amazing powers that we've developed and how good these kids are. That doesn't happen. They're all fucking useless. And it's actually a real letdown, because they build up this whole movie about finding your inner power and finding your strength, and they're all useless. Yeah. They're all so.
I don't know what they're doing.
Thematically, it's strong, because you're like, yeah, go Dungeons and Dragons, kid, you be a wizard master. But he throws one lightning bolt and then just gets fucking stabbed like everybody else, And it's kind of like, okay, so maybe he shouldn't have bothered, I guess.
It's a bit of a letdown. But I think the coming together part was there.
No, and I get that. That's it. That's really great. But I think it betrays itself, because it doesn't pay off in any way. The only way, you've got the amazing moment where she's like, in my dreams, I'm beautiful and bad, and you're like, that's badass. I love it so much. And it's the same thing. I love that she doesn't back down. She pulls out the knives and she's ready to go, but she doesn't.
Goes at him.
She doesn't get anywhere.
No,
it's like there's no victory for them. There's no moment of gratification for them accepting that responsibility and showing that strength. It gets immediately ripped away from them. So I don't feel like in the end it's worthwhile. It kind of betrays what the movie's trying to say.
Yeah, the intention is there. I think they weren't able to let it breathe a little more. Little Harry Potter Dungeons and Dragons guy gets a lightning bolt off, and she ends up in a little bit of a tussle with him, but that's it. But other than Joey and Kincaid don't do anything.
Well, Kincaid goes on about being a strongman, and he kicks in a door or something. He doesn't do anything. At some point.
He bends a chair.
That's what I was check out what I can do. And I'm like, hey man, don't fucking break the chairs. I'm on a budget here. You can sit on that one now.
I love that he gets told off for that. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm going to bend a chair if I want to bend a chair.
So what really, and I'm not telling these people how to write this movie, of course, we always do this, but what should happen is they should get really close to beating him, and Freddy should just scrape through at the end for some reason. And not because they failed, because of dumb luck. Freddy won in the end.
Yes.
And it shows that
that'd be more rewarding.
That's it. They did everything they could. They were able to really get close to taking him down, and he just snuck through on the end, because he's a piece of shit, and that's what happens. And that way, thematically, we'd be on board. We'd be like, oh, they got so close. They worked so hard. And then when that's like, okay, well, we can't do it individually. We need to bring us all together. Suddenly it becomes like, oh, okay, so now you do this while I do this, and you do this. And he doesn't have that moment to regroup anymore and to recover. And I would have been...
That would have been better.
I would have been 100% more engaged with that. Because I don't even know, really, this is one of those ones again. So how does he die at the end?
Oh, come on. This is the good one. This is holy water on the bones.
Oh, no, I get it. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So in the end, the dream stuff didn't really matter, because they were burying his bones and putting holy water on it anyway.
They had to go into the dream to go and get Joey, remember? Because he took Joey
that's right.
hostage.
Because Joey can't keep it in his pants.
Exactly. Still can't keep it in his pants. A lot of titties in this movie, lovely titties. And then they go get him, and the doctor guy goes into the junkyard to kind of bury his bones and put him to rest.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's gold.
Yeah,
that's gold. I like it. I like it a lot.
I think. Yeah. I feel like
and then you get a badass
Kirsten needed to have the big ending.
She did. She needed to have a big moment, and it's kind of taken away from her a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think it is taken away from her. because she doesn't really like. It's not as if she's holding him or like when he dies or whatever. It's just that they grab Joey during this time. Nancy dies, and she holds on to Nancy while she dies, and Freddy dies in the background.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, that was yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm happy that Nancy sacrifices herself for a good cause. Like, she doesn't die in like a mean-spirited way or anything like that.
No.
Which lesser movie franchises have done worse. But yeah, in the end though, it feels a bit unearned. Like at the end of this one, like of all the, this. You're right. This one makes a lot more sense. Yeah. No, you're right. He didn't. I don't know.
He didn't really come after her for she's not like a final girl sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right.
He goes after all of them. I
think for a movie that's built up so well and has such a strong sense of momentum, I really find the ending disappointing to this one.
Bit lackluster.
And the other ones I find more forgivable because they're not as strong as on the lead up. They don't have this really strong sense of purpose towards the finale. Like, say what you like, but even Dream Master, when she just has her strapping up montage and then it's like, all right, let's go kill this motherfucker. That structurally is a little bit tighter than this. This is a bit loose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like,
because they don't have a. It's not like a let's strap it up and let's go get him. It's a race against time because they have to save Joey, and in order to go in all at once, they all have to meditate in a room rather than like have this sequence where they're like, yeah, let's get him sort of thing. They're like,
it doesn't even necessarily mean to need to be that again. It's just that that is better representative of Alice's arc than what I think the finale of this is representative of those kids' arcs, which is a little bit disappointing. But having said that, I still really like it. It's still a lot of fun. It's my third favorite of them, and I think this is the. So if we go through, New Nightmare is the one I want to watch again immediately. Dream Warriors is the one that I think I'm going to end up liking a lot more.
Yep.
As in
later
later
watches, later watches,
And having said that, I think Dream Child will be the one that I look at and go, "What was I thinking? Really? Fourth favorite? I must be nuts."
Fourth favorite,
yeah.
Okay,
I think that's the one that's most likely to drop in quality on subsequent views.
I like it.
Yeah. Anything else about Dream Warriors, Nick? Before we move on,
that's it, Tyson. No,
that's one, man.
That gives us the lovely line, "Welcome to primetime, bitch," which is such a good.
Oh yeah, well that was what I wanted to mention before. That this is the 3 can be kind of blamed for the trajectory of Freddy.
The jokey Freddy.
Yeah. The idea that that concept, the whole structure that they stole for almost every other movie afterwards, which is a bunch of kids that have a certain character trait, and we're going to exploit that as the death so that it becomes much more kind of, Tales of the Crypty. It's like, ooh,
this
you like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like comic books,
you
do
like
you?
titties?
Yeah.
You like titties, do you?
Well, these titties will kill you. Exactly.
I'll spit out these tongues. They'll tie you to a bed.
Yes.
We'll fuck you up. Yeah. That's
exactly. Oh, that's a perfect analogy. It's like any of their character traits. It's like, oh, you like comic books, do you? Oh, you like what's one of the other ones? You like karate, do you? What if I karate you to death?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nick. We've obviously got the same movie for number 1.
We've got the same movie for number 1.
Ding, 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 ding. It is the original.
It is.
I would like to just highlight again that it was pretty close for me. I was really close to making New Nightmare my favourite. I like that. God, I wish it had just got a better ending. Because this one, look, it is top to bottom. It's pretty tight. So it's really nicely put together. There are some things that I don't love about it, and I think we've gone over. We probably went through most of them in our episode. But generally, it's pretty hard to go past this as the best one.
It really is.
Yeah. Just the creativity that is in the other ones, I think, is at its peak in this because it's not too over the top. It's just, it goes in a certain direction. It surprises you, but it never goes into a ridiculous place where you're just like, well, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore.
And this is my favorite because I still feel, and I know that Freddy is still scary for me in this one. I'm not saying that he scares me. I'm saying that he's still quite a scary presence.
Sure.
And that's what I like about this one especially.
Yeah.
Because even especially in like Dream Warriors, like he's there, but he's a lot more vocal. Whereas in number one, he says 2-3 words.
Yeah,
like
he doesn't say much, does he?
You know, he doesn't say much at all.
Yeah.
And I find that quite threatening.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really like it.
And as he exists more in the shadows in this one, I think it's, it's much more effective had we not known what we already know. Like, if I saw this in 1984, I can guarantee you I would have shat my pants. But it's,
Absolutely.
The problem is with it now is that what's come since, I don't think it lessens the movie experience at all. I still think it's a really fucking good movie. But the fear element, the real kind of like shit your pants scared element to it has probably drifted away.
It's left, because Freddy Krueger is a pop icon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of love that, to be honest.
huge.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that scene in New Nightmare where he comes out as Freddy
the TV show.
on the TV show.
Yeah.
And I kind of fucking love that. Like, I love that we have that as one of our cultural icons. Like, isn't that bizarre? Isn't that so strange?
Yeah.
Like, everybody
so
on planet Earth knows who Freddy Krueger is. And that,
especially like the last time we saw Freddy Krueger was Ready Player One, where you saw
you're
him
right.
like jump up and you're like, oh, Freddy Krueger,
That might be a good experiment, actually. I'm going to talk to some of my kids at school and I'm going to find out. I'm just going to do like a running sample.
Oh, yeah, go on.
How many of them know? Do you know about Freddy Krueger? And if
hands up, just a show of hands who knows who Freddy Krueger is.
And if
okay, cool.
And if they don't know, I'm going to tell them, and then they'll have nightmares about it. And suddenly he's back,
God
baby.
Damn.
He's back.
Well, tell them to watch it on Saturday on Halloween night, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, and that's it. And if they don't know about this,
come on,
the character, God, what an experience it would be. It would be so good.
That would be so good, wouldn't it? See, my son's he's gonna grow up with that. He knows. He's gonna be like, but
it was impossible not to know. That's the thing. I knew about it, and my parents never let me watch that kind of stuff, but somehow I knew about it. Whether or not it's kids at school talking about it in like hushed kind of like quiet stories behind the fucking toilet block when they're like,
Freddy Krueger will get you.
Yeah, that's it. Freddy Krueger's gonna get you. Don't go to sleep, man. Don't go to sleep.
And
you'll be like, who's Freddy Krueger? And they've got like a cutout from a Fangoria magazine, and like, this is Freddy Krueger.
or a little card, a little baseball card.
Yeah, a baseball card. Or they bought some chewing gum that had a fucking picture of him on it.
Yes, a little sticker.
Yeah.
On their manila folder.
Exactly. And that was it. You go home and you're like, Mom, Freddy Krueger's going to get me. And that's it. From there, you just know who Freddy Krueger is. So, yeah, God, going into that blind would be an incredible experience.
I would love that. I would love to find someone who hasn't known who Freddy Krueger is.
Yeah.
And get them to watch it.
Do we have
maybe I'll find my nephew. I want to talk to my nephew. Maybe he's never watched it.
The problem is, as soon as you say, do you know who Freddy Krueger is, you're kind of ruining it.
Mm-mm.
It's like, you need to say...
Have you...
Yeah. Hey, who's the guy that has the knives on his hands and is in horror movies? And if they go, what are you talking about? You don't say another word.
You go, cool. Let's turn everything off. We're going to watch a movie, everyone.
Yeah. Everybody stop exactly where you are.
Stop what you're doing.
We're putting on a movie. I don't care that it's an exam. We're doing an exam right now. We're going to hold.
Nick, you're in the middle of a wake. Well, let's come on. We can
what better time than...
Let's have a good time.
We're all in the mood,
everyone.
Obviously. We've got death on the brain.
Exactly. What a great setting. Oh my God, that's messed up.
Oh dear,
you're terrible.
So Nick, we did mention before. What is we have an episode on Nightmare on Elm Street, and our thoughts are very clearly stated in that, and that is episode number 78. Was it
78? I think it was. Well done, Tyson. 78.
I didn't think I would remember that, but we got away with it.
Wow, well done.
So I think because we would just kind of talk around in circles again. And I also don't want to contradict anything I might have said.
Exactly, yes.
2 years ago. And be like, this was my favourite bit. And then you go back to that episode. I'm like, this was shit.
And you're like, you fucking hate it.
Exactly.
So good.
So I think it's probably best that we just send people in that direction. And then you get a full hour and a half conversation about us talking about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Which is what you want, because
Halloween.
that movie, you know, you need an hour and a half just on that film.
And it does.
Especially
It warrants a full chat, for sure.
Yeah.
So, Nick, that's going to wrap our Halloween special. Our
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Oh.
Nick, do you want to just remind people of your ranking list? I just want to go through one more time just to put a little button on that, because it can be a little confusing with all our tablings and things.
I can do that. So starting at number 9 is the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 8 is Freddy vs. Jason. Number 7 is Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. Number 6 is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Where am I? Number 5. My pick for number 5 is Dream. This is hilarious. This is so
it's getting a bit nuts.
Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Dream Master. My ranking for number 4 position is A New Nightmare. My number 3 position is Freddy's Dead, Nightmare on Elm Street 6. Where am I? Number 2, my second position is Dream Warriors, and at number 1 is A Nightmare on Elm Street 1984.
Very
Tyson?
good. Yes, in 9th position is the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. In 8th position is Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. 7th position, Freddy vs. Jason. 6th position is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. 5th position is A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. 4th position is Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. 3rd position is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. 2nd position is New Nightmare. And in number 1 with a bullet is the original Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984.
Nice.
Nick, that's been a barrel of laughs.
God, that was good.
That was a lot of fun. I hope everyone has had a wonderful Halloween season.
Yes.
We should mention, Nick, that this brings an end to our lockdown episodes because
we're allowed outside.
We're allowed outside again. It kind of times out really perfectly, to be honest, because
quite good.
since about March, we've been doing our lockdown series where we decided, no, everything we do is going to be good movies, all that kind of great stuff that you want to hear talked about. We're not going to worry about holding on to anything. It was just going to be all killer, no filler. And we've kind of come to the end of that now, which is wonderful. Hopefully, with a bit of luck and everyone being sensible and doing what the science and the doctors tell us to do, we will have a long and happy freedom, I guess.
Yes. And things can slowly get back to what we remember.
We might even be able to get to do an episode in person again sometime soon, which would be amazing.
How good is that?
But yeah, so I hope everyone has had a wonderful Halloween.
Yes.
If you happen to join us while celebrating your Halloween fun, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. That's very sweet.
Thank you.
And by all means, let us know what you're watching on our Facebook, on our Instagram. Tell us what your Halloween viewing is going to be. All that.
What
kind
is yours
of
going to be, Tyson? What are you thinking?
I actually picked up a bunch of Blu-rays from a Gumtree order.
Ooh,
some guy on Gumtree was selling all of his Blu-rays for $2.50 each, and it was just a general kind of just whatever you want.
Just a
if I've
grab
got it,
bag.
just a grab bag.
Stuff.
So I bought a bunch of stuff, and there was a couple in there that a couple in there. Maybe Gremlins might be fun.
Oh, I like it.
Or I also picked up The Howling. I haven't seen that for a while. That could be fun.
Oh, The Howling.
Do you know what it's most likely going to be, though? Because I got the Jones for it because we did obviously recently watch Never Sleep Again. I think I'm going to watch all 6 hours of Crystal Lake Memories.
Oh, Jesus.
I think that might be my Halloween.
6 hours. That's intense. I haven't even done that yet. I can't wait to do that. I really can't.
Oh, it's good. It's really good.
That looks so good.
Yeah.
Because it's by the same people, isn't it? I didn't realise that. Did this.
I didn't know that.
No?
Is it? I don't know. It might be.
Okay. I've got a real Jones for watching Cabin in the Woods again. I think I might chuck
It's always
that
a good
on.
Halloween choice.
It's
for
always
sure.
a good please. You
For
can't go
sure.
wrong. Can't go wrong.
But yeah, we do have another 4 other episodes that you can tune into as well if you want to get a bit of dose of Spook-isode goodness before Halloween ticks around in a couple of days. At the time of this recording, it will be Halloween Day. I think I'm going to try and release this on the day on Halloween. So whatever you decide to spend your time doing on Halloween, I hope it is spooky and fun.
Yay!
Nick, why don't you remind the people at home where they can find our show?
Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. If you've stayed through this episode, this has been a long haul. Hopefully you haven't got too confused. My God. But yes, thank you so much if you have. And if you have, please do like, subscribe, rate, review, because we would love you to do so wherever you're listening to the podcast. Also, if you want to follow us on any and all of the social media outlets, we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter. We do have a Gmail account, which is nickTysonVideotape@gmail.com. If you wish to write us some correspondence or anything at all, just want to say hi. And Tyson and myself have rated all of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So if you want to find out what we have rated it, you'll have to follow us on Letterboxd and download the Letterboxd app. And you can follow Tyson at TYS_videotape, and I am NIC_videotape.
That's it. Nick, next week, we have no idea what we're going to do yet.
No.
But as it will be a complete change of pace, we can tell you that much. So maybe check the episode notes, because we might have decided by the time I write those up. But also keep an eye on the social media, because we will post some kind of notification to say, this is the movie that we're watching. Give it a crack. But it's whatever it is, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I look forward to watching something where people don't get murdered all the time.
That'd be fun.
I think that'd be a nice change.
Maybe something. I was going to say something that's a bit funny, but fucking.
Yeah, we can't talk about comedies on the show. We try and we're terrible at it. So maybe like a nice drama. Maybe like a nice heartfelt drama.
Yeah, let's Oh my God, my back just cracked.
Yes.
Let's watch a drama. Let's watch.
Oh, we're deciding now, are we? I'm still recording.
No, we're definitely not deciding now. I'm just throwing things against the wall and see what sticks.
Oh, yeah, nice. I like it.
We'll get back to you. How about that?
All right, nice one. I like it. Nick, that was fun, man.
Tyson, that was lovely.
Happy Halloween, buddy.
Happy Halloween, buddy.
I'll see you next week.
I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.